Today's episode of PTG is brought to you by the one and only Trans Labs that brought the world two amazing products. First off, Transfuse, which is a hydration multiplier, and most recently, they just dropped Transcend, which is a nootropic energy formula. No matter what you use, when you choose Trans Labs, you are going to be boosted and you are going to be ready to charge the paintball field and win out there. With Transfuse, that is a premium rapid hydration multiplier and immunity fortifying formula scientifically designed to replenish you at the cellular level. And they use all natural ingredients in this product. We've got zinc, we've got vitamin B6, we've got vitamin C, sodium, potassium, choline, and it is an amazing way to make sure that you're hydrated and prepared to play top level paintball. When it comes to Transcend, that is a premium nootropic energy formula designed to increase cognitive performance, elevate mood and clarity while supporting long-term brain health, and it's going to leave you feeling great with no crash or jitters. It's one of the only products in the nootropic space backed by research studies to ensure the formula is correct for optimal performance. It is more potent than anything on the market, and it will keep you charged and ready to win out there. I take one scoop, but if you're stimulant sensitive, take a half scoop, and if you want that LFG dose to launch to the moon, dump 2 scoops in your drink and you are going to be flying down that paintball field. Comes in 2 delicious flavors, Baja Blast and Skittles Candy for the Transcend. And for the Transfuse, they have 2 new flavors as well, Pineapple Express and Hawaiian Punched. So if you get a chance, head over to translabs.com. That's TRANZLABS.com. Use code PLAYTHEGAME and you'll get 10% off. If you subscribe to a monthly delivery service, you also get 10% off as well. So you can take advantage of 20% off on these products. Head over to translabs.com and give it a go. This episode is brought to you by Lone Wolf Paintball. They are an amazing online supplier and have been around since the beginning of the game as Michigan's premier paintball field and paintball supplier since 1987. They are rapidly expanding into the online retail space and supplying everything you need to be the best paintball player you can be. They have got it all. Head over to lonewolfpaintball.com and shop all of your favorite brands. And they also boast amazing customer service and will have this out to you with same-day shipping, which is amazing. It's always nice to know that your stuff is on its way immediately so you can start to use it that very next weekend of play. Check out their YouTube, Lone Wolf Paintball, and their Instagram at Lone Wolf PB, and stay up to date with all of their deals and sales. Play the Game podcast is immensely honored to have them on board, and we cannot wait for you guys to check out lonewolfpaintball.com and become a part of their community.
What's going on, PTG fam? This episode is an absolute banger. We stepped outside of the box here. We have none other than Freddy Chase. He is a professional extreme athlete. This dude is wild. He jumps out of airplanes and does it with style, does it with fashion, does it with a whole lot of flair, has an amazingly interesting story, and he used to play paintball. So without further ado, we're going to hop in the show. Really hope you guys enjoy this one, and I will see you in there.
That was an insane inside move by Marcelo Margot. Great communication.
And the crowd starts chanting Harmon.
Great shot by all the guys. So Tyler Harmon saved that game.
He came out with 2 wins. Marcelo Margot was on fire.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have Freddy Chase, professional extreme sports athlete. This dude is
Yes, sir.
I've said it already. You're an absolute maniac. Your videos are epic. The way that we got connected was really cool. Definitely excited to hop into that story a little bit later, to find out that you have some history with paintball. And man, just really thank you for taking some time coming to hang out with us and joining us on the show.
Bro, thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate you guys reaching out. It's almost like a dream come true, I guess, if you will. Like you said, I have somewhat of a paintball background. I used to play Snake. I used to play local in the WCPL tournaments.
Let's go.
I did that.
Hey.
I did that throughout, 7th grade all the way to the end of high school. And, I worked at like Jungle Island Paintball Park, and, I've been in the sport for quite a long time. So, Marcelo, I think we met like back when we were like 15, when we were just, babies. So like, it's cool to see,
Dude.
I always looked up to, especially you, Tyler. I looked up to you guys playing. Like, I wanted to be at that level. And as time goes on, we choose our paths. And even seeing you guys back in the 15 Dynasty documentary was super emotional, because I was like, yo, I actually like know some of these guys, and I played with them, and I know from childhood experience, like, that's the dream of hitting a team like Dynasty and becoming like a world champion. And to seeing you guys have that documentary about you guys was super, super,
Dude.
heart feeling. And I really wanted to get back in the sport, and actually encouraged me to get back in the sport. So
There
it's
we go.
awesome.
Damn.
It's awesome to see this come full circle to where you guys saw my video, and to get a
Yep.
DM from the boys who I looked up to over the years, and
Dude,
get me on this
we look
podcast.
up to we look up to you, bro.
Yeah,
We're
straight
honored.
up. Yeah,
We're honored to
literally,
have
too.
you on. Yeah, literally in
the
the
planes
sky.
you're jumping out of.
We look up. And I just want to
Yeah.
say this first and foremost, man. You made some great life decisions. I've seen your Instagram. Everybody go check it out. Freddy Chase. Go pop up on the Instagram. Show some love in there. And bro, we are honored to have you on the show and all that you're doing in the extreme sports space, shedding a ton of light. You got hundreds of thousands of followers on there that are able to see you doing extreme things. And hopefully we'll see some paintball videos rolling through on the IG there shortly.
Dude,
Yeah,
I mean,
real.
go ahead, Marcel.
Yeah, no, real quick, because I just want to add, I was definitely going to say that. Make sure you guys right now stop listening to the show, pause it really quick, go to Freddy Chase on Instagram, and just get a feel for who we have on the show right now. And there's a video that majority of you, I'm sure you've seen. If you've been on Instagram in the last couple of months, you've definitely seen it. And it was a video of, let's see if I could, I wonder if what the rights are here, if I could, pull it up real quick on the camera. You guys don't get the audio, but it's a video. Dude, that's insane.
Yeah.
For all the listeners on the YouTube, I pulled the video up. But it was a video of you holding on to, I don't know what you're holding on to, but you're hanging out of a damn plane. And all of a sudden, you have a little like, love you boys and see ya. And you're just so cool, calm, and collected, falling to the ground. And anyway, I had seen that video and I remember thinking, man, this guy's maniac. As I keep using that word, simply because I'm so afraid of heights. That is like, one day I need to overcome this. And now that I have the connection here, I maybe we'll jump together one day. But
damn.
Anyway, I had seen, like you followed me on Instagram, and I remember seeing, I'm like, hey, that face looks familiar. I clicked on your profile. I'm like, bro, no way. This dude's awesome. So I just sent you a message thinking like, hey, it's a long shot. But I was like, dude, I think what you do is super cool. Would be amazing. We'd be honored if you come on Play the Game podcast. It's paintball based, but we like to have just awesome, successful, interesting people from whatever, kind of realm. And you hit me back with you used to play paintball and all that kind of stuff, dude. I was like, no way, bro. Okay, this is fantastic.
Small world.
So just to paint the picture for all the listeners, that's why I'm really excited for this show to kind of hang out and chat. But yeah, man, it's so badass.
Yes, sir.
No, I mean, like you said, yeah, when you said, I followed you, I forget how I did it. And, like I said, I've known you guys, of you guys, and, for a long period of time. And, especially like, stepping away and getting into social media, like paintball kind of ended up being like really on the back burner for a long time. Somebody posted it. I think it might have been Mr. Markey over at HK.
There we go.
Probably, and
yeah, he did.
Yeah, and me and Mark actually, we have a good friendship, because I was getting into more into video producing, YouTube, creating content, and we've always talked, and had a good relationship. And I think he posted YouTube, and I just went and I was like, I haven't seen Marcelo in a long time, or Tyler in a long time. I was like, let me go check to see how they're doing. And I did, and gave you guys a follow, and then within like
the universe
10 minutes, I was like, yo,
Yeah.
And then you hit me with that, and it was like, absolutely, I would love to do this podcast. And I love the sport of paintball. I love what it's done for my childhood. I love that it got me out of the house consistently when I was a kid. Like, it had me, I had a job when I was 14, when most kids my age didn't. I had a car then, and I was driving to work to go ref paintball games at Jungle Island, so I can make money, just so I can go pay for paint, and just so I can try to get on a team. And
Yeah.
And it was a constant hustle, and even then it taught me like, a lot of team building, friendships, and and I still have those friends to this day.
Mm-hmm.
We still talk, and they try to get me back in to play, but I'm
Dude,
getting
you're gonna
older.
do it.
I mean, hey,
Dude, he's got to show him the gun. He's got a
Let's
TM40
go.
sitting right here,
Look
bro.
out.
it's sitting here
Now we're
collecting.
talking.
It's sitting here collecting dust, so it needs to be it needs to have a
Yeah.
couple more cases ran through it, but absolutely,
Bro,
man.
where you at?
So,
Where you at this weekend?
I'm actually I'm flying to Texas to go bartend a private event.
There we
Shit.
go.
That sounds
So-
tight, though. When do you leave?
I leave Saturday morning, and then I fly back Sunday morning.
If
and-
okay,
go ahead.
real quick, yeah. If you're available Friday, because you're in LA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're available Friday, there's a WCPPL event at ASG.
Like in Paris?
Yeah, right here. So if you want to, I'll be coaching a team out there. So if you want to cruise out, come hang out, kind of see the scene a little bit.
Who you coaching?
It's a team called the Vegas Golden Misfits. It's the old, you're from back in the day. You might remember the old LTZ guys. Do you remember
Sure
LTZ
do.
by chance?
Yeah.
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 So a bunch of them got back into the game. So we got some of them, a couple new guys.
That's it. So I know I still have a couple of boys that still play in the WCPPL. I think they might be D4, D3. Dark Horse Paintball. Heard of them?
Yeah.
Heard of them?
Yeah, not me.
like-
No, I don't know. Dark
Dark
Horse
Horse.
Paintball, I don't
I've
think
heard
so.
of that name, paintball team, but I don't know if it's recently, but I have heard of that team.
Yeah, they were my old teammates way back in the day, and I know they're still going strong, and it's actually super funny. That jump, by the way, the one that went viral wasn't out of a plane. Wasn't out of a plane.
Helicopter.
Not even
Balloon.
hot air balloon.
There
And
we
hot-
go.
Even
and
crazier.
And hot air balloons are they're a super super special kind of jump, just because a lot of people like in that video were like, oh, it's fake. There's what is that high in California? That's there's no wind, there's no sound, we can't hear the airplane. I'm like,
Oh, I
hot air
see.
balloon.
Yeah.
You guys never you guys
Yeah.
never heard of a hot air balloon? Like, I was like, yeah, there's I get it, there's no sound, but that's what
Hey, that's
happens when
good though.
That's what happens
That's
when
good
it's
for the
quiet.
comments.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. But on that note, where I skydive is right next to ASG.
Okay.
Like,
Hey,
right,
hold on a
right
second. Do
there.
you know a Rochelle Margot? Well,
Is that
her
your-
last name's not Margot anymore. She's married, but she owns I'm pretty sure she owns the skydiving place in Paris.
Rochelle?
Yeah. You know Rochelle?
Yo, that name sounds really, really familiar. Is it Paris or Elsinore?
I
There's
thought
two.
it was Paris, but it might be Elsinore. I could find out.
Here, I'm about to text my friends too. Like, yo, do I have a?
There we go.
Yeah,
Worldwide connections. Hey, so just to hit on
CHELE?
yeah.
Got it.
Anyway, it's my niece. She's older than I am, but she's super into skydiving. Yeah, it is. It's either Paris or Elsinore.
it's got to be
I mean,
one of them. Guaranteed.
I heard the name. I've heard of the
Yeah,
name there.
yeah.
Skydiving. It's a very
Shell
tight
Price.
Yeah.
group of people, just because there's not a lot of people that do what we do. But yeah, dude, I literally jump over ASG every week. Like, I see the field. I see the field set up, and I see it's ran from a way different perspective than you guys have ever seen it. I see it at 5,000 feet, and I'm like, all right.
Yep.
Like, I see what the Dorito side looks like. I see what the snake side looks like. They put the 50 what?
Bro, that's insane. That's hilarious. That's straight up drone footage, but
Like drone
real
footage.
life. Yeah.
Man. So I jump over there all the time, man. And I would I'll see what I got going on this week. But yeah, I would love to come check it out. Come say hi to everybody, and take a look. Because I'm doing this job, and this is really how I got kind of in the social media side of it, is bartending. So
Okay.
like when I graduated high school, I worked at, a couple jobs like all over the place. And then I got into what's called flare bartending, which
Yeah.
is like, if you guys ever been to Vegas, it's the guys that flip bottles,
Yeah.
juggle,
Yeah.
do all
Yeah.
the crazy tricks and whatnot. So I started doing that for a long period of time. And, I worked all over the place from, Harris down in Valley View in San Diego to Vegas to out here in LA. And when I went from Vegas to LA, I got a lot of like YouTubers, big time like social media influencers reaching out to bartend their parties. And that's kind of how I got into, creating videos and, got into skydiving because I was working with people like, Summer Rae, Face Banks and their crew, Logan and Jake Paul. And then throughout that industry, a couple of those, influencers, if you will, were skydivers. And they inspired me to start making videos, get into the sport. And yeah, man, kind of one thing led next to another. And I still do like most of all the stuff I like. I still play paintball, I still bartend, and just making videos every day.
Those are great markets to be in, my man. Absolutely phenomenal markets to be in. That's how you get it done right there. That's the bread and butter of just taking yourself and putting yourself in the spotlight to make good connections, essentially. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it all comes down to. You make good connections, you have good energy, you carry yourself well, and you make sure that, whenever you start a process, whether it's jumping out of an airplane or going down a mountain on a snowboard or flipping bottles, whatever you do it to the best of your abilities. You know what I'm saying? So it's a honor to get your perspective. And I do want to kind of dive into the bartending and rockin' B-Day parties and that whole lifestyle. And before you got into that, what were you like in high school? Like, as a high schooler, were you like into the parties, or what was going on in high school?
Dude, honestly, like, I grew up in Marietta in Temecula. So like there was obviously parties every week because that's all like those kids did out there at that time.
Yeah.
But I was still a hardcore athlete. Like I was a swimmer and a water polo player for most of my life. So I still play paintball, which made it very, very easy for me as far as conditioning because, I never got tired. So when we play
Oh yeah.
points and, I was running, sliding, and diving in a snake, like I never got tired. I was never gassed because I was up in the morning swimming, 10,000 yards every day, just, at 15 years old. So I was like, 15, I was young and I was carrying, 3 pods on my back. Like I was weightless and like just like doing nothing. So I never really got into the whole party scene as far as that because I was always like, one, I was either training or, and this isn't just because this is a paintball podcast or anything. It was just because literally I was playing paintball and it
Dude,
was,
that's
Hell
so
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, man.
or I was working, it was, Friday night come around. It was like, yo, I had to be at Jungle Island at 6 a.m. because I had to go ref a ton of walk-ons. So, don't get me wrong,
Of course.
there was definitely times
Yeah.
of partying, but as far as like, I never did drugs in high school. Like I didn't honestly smoke weed till I was 27. Um, like I maybe had a beer because I played beer pong, with a couple friends of mine, but as far
Yeah,
as
in high school, we were just getting after it, like as young paintball. Because how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 30.
You're 30. Yeah, today's my 33rd birthday. Shout out
Shout out
to
to T.
my birthday.
Happy birthday. That's right. We did say
Thank
happy
you.
birthday before the show started, but yeah,
Thank
that's
you very
right.
much.
For all the listeners.
I mean, we should have had a bottle, at least a tequila.
We should have had
no,
something, Yeah.
Let's go. It's a party. It's a T-Harm party. But like in the early days, man, and even to this very day, it's a nonstop, relentless pursuit of perfection to be the best athlete we can be. And I think it's so amazing that you've dove into so many different sectors of extreme sports. Because I know we all love all sports, but to be able to like have your hand in so many of them and then be documenting it and going about it the way you are with the socials is really powerful and inspiring for so many people out there who want to do just that. They're looking at someone like you, like, like we said, like the God in the sky, dude. You're skydiving like a lord out there, and you're documenting it all, which is super cool. But back to like the bartending and doing that, what are some of like the coolest celebs you've been able to rock with? I know you said Summer Rae. She's definitely one of the biggest like Instagram influencers in the world. What were those parties like?
I mean, they're never bad.
Yeah,
I mean,
guaranteed.
Oh, man.
so like, she was she's a good dear friend of mine to this day, and she's making really, really big moves for herself. So huge congrats on you, Summer, if you
Yeah,
end up listening to this
huge.
podcast.
Yeah.
She actually she walked into a bar I was working at here in LA. It was a nightclub called Avenue that was ran by Tao Group. And I'm sitting there slinging drinks, and I had somewhat of a crush on this girl back then when she was just coming up. And I knew she was like moving to Los Angeles, and I was like, I work at one of the most exclusive nightclubs. I was like, it's gonna happen eventually. I'm gonna serve her a drink. And I knew her birthday was coming up soon, and like 2 weeks before, she comes into my bar, and there she was, and I was like, she's like, "Hi, I'm Summer." I'm like, "No shit." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Here, take these shots, da 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 da, on the house. Don't worry about it." And she gives me her number. And this is like, we've all been there where we've got a number from a girl that was just like, really? Like,
Yeah.
it's not fake. It's not fake, is it? Like, and it turned out to be real. We talked here and there, and then a buddy of mine actually, her manager hit on my buddy, and he was like, "Hey, we need bartenders." So she didn't even know I was working her party, and yeah, I just showed up. She's like, "Freddie," she's
It's
like,
you.
she was like, "I was already gonna text you to see if you want to do it." She's like, "But they said they already had 2 like flare guys that were coming." She's like, "And it's you." So it ended up working out. But throughout all those parties, it was the world of social media, like, and everything kind of clicked, because this was back like somewhat 5 years ago of vlogging was a big thing, and we were around all these kids that were making thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands, making videos, making brand deals, selling merch, and we were around all of them. And then we crushed that party, like we flipping bottles, breathing fire, like getting
Yeah.
everybody drunk.
Yep.
And it picked up of everybody started wanting us at their parties. So we worked with Summer Rae, we did the Face Clan, and all of them. Are you guys familiar
They're
with them?
major.
Yeah, dude, we went out.
Yeah.
I went out and did a paintball event with FaZe Clan a couple years ago with Marky and HK.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like Frazier, Banks, all those boys, like Apex, like
Yeah.
all those guys, like we partied with them, and we did it over the years. And then as they kept going on, I met friends that did skydiving, and I said, "Oh well, I want to do that." And I did it because I was watching videos of my friends through social media doing skydiving, doing all these crazy travel trips, and the FARC content, as it's called. It's fuck around, relax, and travel. I was
Yeah.
like, "Yo, that's dope. I want to do that." I was like, bartend, jump out of planes, do all this. I was like, "This is my style." So, as we did all these parties, the parties get bigger. The people that we met, I did Jake Paul's parties numerous times, well over 10 of them, a lot through COVID. I did his party when he did his first boxing match against Nate Robinson. I bartended with at Logan Paul's, and then like
Two of the most controversial people the internet has ever seen. You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
And you're
man.
rocking with them.
And it's funny because I reference them, and I've worked, I've done parties for Paris Hilton, Rihanna, George Clooney.
Damn.
Damn.
Let them know. Let them know.
Those parties. But as far as like the party that was
Yeah.
the party of Los Angeles was both of Dan Bilzerian's Ignite
Oh,
parties.
of course. Are you kidding me? So
Both
you were
a
there.
Bilzerian party?
You were at both of those?
Both of them.
Oof.
Damn.
So
Sheesh.
and yeah, man, yeah,
Bonkers.
And mind you, like I just recently got a girlfriend right before the Halloween party, and we were dating for like 6 months, and I was like, this is the test, right? I was like, this is the make or break. I was like, babe, I was like, you can't come. I was like, but I will be going home after. And dude, it was insane.
Shenanigans.
There was 3,000 girls, all naked, and we were the only 2 male bartenders that Dan has ever hired, to my knowledge. And
Whoa.
and how I got this job, because like I've already worked previously through all these like influencers, and I had a shit ton of content that I was just like, hey, who do I have to talk to get in this party? And I was sending clips, sending me blowing fire, sending me flipping bottles. And the girl was like, hey, sorry, I just think we don't have a budget for you. I was like, I'll do it for free.
There we
I
go.
was like, just let me and my boy bartend for free, give me the biggest bar, and let us put on a show. And we did, man, and it was insane. The amount of actual clout and finances that was in that building was insane.
Such a valuable tidbit right there, man. To be willing to work for free, understanding that it could create an opportunity for you or create a connection is so valuable. You see too often people are not willing to do that. They're so short-sighted on some things. They're like, oh, if I'm not going to get paid for this, it's not worth my time. Or if I'm not going to get this, it's not worth my time. Show people your worth first, go and bring your value to others first.
Absolutely, man. I couldn't agree more. And it's just like, even to this day, yeah, I've had over 1 billion views, hundreds of millions of views across all social media platforms. I still bartend. Like, I still work.
Love that.
Like it's not like I kick my feet up and say, all right, we're done. No, this is when you kick it into 6th gear and floor it. And it's because you never know when opportunities arises. Because literally, like at those parties, like I remember, like, mind you, so let me paint the picture for you. The bar is 25 feet wide. Every girl is in some kind of lingerie, pasties, and every girl is a 10. Everyone. Every hot girl that you've seen on social media where you're like, damn, they were there. They were in front of me, and it wasn't just 25 of them.
Nuts,
there was also 3 more rows behind them that looked the same. And I just remember, dude, I'm slammed, and I'm just trying to get these girls as drunk as possible, and haul ass, and try to make money and get out. And dude, I shit you not, man. I go to like pick up like a scoop of ice, and I hear like somebody go, like, "Hey, you got any wine back there?" Like wine at a party, and I'm just like, "Who is this motherfucker?" And bro, it's Jordan Belfort, the real Jordan Belfort.
You better get that wine.
I'm just like, oh, bro, here. I'm like, sell me this thing. I'm like, yo, man. So it's, I didn't party that much in high school. And I feel like since like the parties I've been in since like I was 21 till now is kind of like, it didn't get like, I got to experience a good portion of that. Like, in my 20s, I didn't get burnt out on alcohol that fast, because I wasn't drinking in high school. I did it. I want to say I did it the right way.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds like you're doing it the right way, dude.
Dude, just absolutely dominating. And even like Dan Bilzerian and Lunatic Living, I forget his name, but his Instagram is Lunatic Living. They both love paintball. And you got to know, obviously, Bear DeGidio, obviously the whole HK Army, everybody down there in SoCal, and all the big things that they're doing.
I know Bear. I know him pretty good. I know his jewelry line, Jackson's out. He actually invited, like I said, and this is why I stayed in bartending for so long, because I bartended all the influencer parties, the influencer parties and the celebrity parties, and within those parties there were people that wanted to go play paintball, during the week, and Bear would hit up a few of my friends, and they're like, and this is how I got back into paintball, was like, I got in a group chat and everybody's like, hey, we're going paintball on Hollywood Sports on Wednesday. Who's down? And I just like had a shit-eating grin, like, okay,
y'all are screwed.
I'll go play. I was like, how many? And just out of shits and giggles, I just write in the chat like, how many people are getting rentals? 20 of them. I'm like, sweet. I'm like, this is great. So and we would go like every week, and that's how I kind of got back into the paintball lifestyle, and that's why I bought a brand new Lux, just so I can have something that's dependable, and especially like back when we were 14, 15, spending $1,200 to $1,500 paintball gun was out. It was
no way. Yeah,
you had to settle with an axe back then, or ion, or and I was happy enough just to get I think I had a '06 Ego at that time, and it was, my baby, and it was a fucking
Yeah.
$600 gun back then. It's like,
Yeah.
I couldn't fathom spending that money. So now I was like, all right, I'm an adult. I can spend money. I was like, I'm gonna go buy a Lux. Always wanted one,
Yeah,
So
man.
it was
That's
Hell yeah.
it was a
That's-
craving I had since I was like 14 to finally buy like a top of line gun, and I did it when I was 30.
There we go. Hey,
Hell
if
yeah.
you ever need anything, you just hit me or Marsh up. We always got you, man. We want to make sure that you're playing paintball and having fun out there. So we'll always make sure
Hell
you're
yeah.
dialed in, dude.
Yeah. Hey, bro, where'd you learn how to do the flare bartending? I have some friends. One of my best friends, Ty, Gino. He has recently gotten into bartending. He's trying to learn some of the flare stuff. He's like naturally really good at any sort of, I don't even know what. That's kind of like dancing or any sort of smoothness with your hands, like
hand-eye coordination.
Yeah.
Contact juggling is
Contact juggling.
is a good word for it. Yeah, or just juggling in general.
Yeah.
So like when I like started to move out and be on my own, I worked at various locations. I stopped working at Jungle Island because there was an incident there to where one of their employees was he was in a vicious murder. It was going on at that time, and it was kind of like say goodbye to the company. So I was a TIG welder. I was a personal trainer in the gym at LA Fitness, and then I was a busser at a 5-star restaurant in San Bernardino, believe it or not. And as I was there,
For people not in Southern California, I believe, yeah, I believe he's San Bernardino. Yeah, surprised there are 5-star restaurants out there. No, no shade thrown at the our San Bernardino residents.
I grew up there my entire life, so like I still have a 909 number, like Inland Empire to the day I die.
I was just gonna say it's like the Inland Empire. That's where Mouse is from.
Oh yeah, Mouse. Yep.
Yeah,
Dude, I haven't heard of Mouse in a minute.
Oh man, he's still at the top of the game, dude. Alex Goldman.
Still hanging. That a boy, man.
Yeah.
So I was working there, and I was 20 years old at the time, and I was busting tables, and I was making $100 a night. It was okay, but the bartenders were making 3 times more, and I was interesting. And then I went to Vegas for my 21st birthday, and I walked into a bar called Carnival Court, which is it's at Harris. It's right in between the Link and Harris. It's right on the strip. It looks like a big purple tent. And I walk in there, man, and I wasn't even it's a world-renowned flare bar, like the best of the best, the top tier are there. And I wasn't even really paying attention to them flipping bottles or doing anything of the sort. I just remember there was one bartender who was putting like $100 bill on his forehead, taking it off, putting another one on. I was like, dude, just out of curiosity, I was like, how much do you usually make? And I'm a 20-year-old kid, and he's like in his 30s. He's like, it's kind of personal, man. He's like, but we really don't make less than $1,000 a night. And I was like, like $1,000. I was like, flipping bottles, and mind you, it's not like work. These guys are pouring shots in girls' mouth, getting boobs flashed at them constantly, and it's just like
they're having fun.
I'm in the wrong fucking gig.
Yeah.
So, I was living in San Bernardino at the time, and then, living in Murrieta when I was working like at Jungle and everything, I was like, yo, I really love Temecula, Murrieta, just because it's beautiful. It's in a valley. Like the weather's always nice there. So I was like, I'm gonna go back there and I'm gonna look for a job, and I'm gonna bartend. And dude, like there was a bar that was hiring flare bartenders. I never poured a drink yet, and I was like, screw it, I'm gonna send in my resume. And for like 3 weeks, until they were having the auditions, I was like practicing in my room of how to do flare. And a lot of the videos
what were you doing? Just like YouTube?
Bro, just YouTube. And watching videos of the guys who I asked how much money they were making were on these videos. So I was like, oh, that's what they were doing the whole time. I was like, that's why they were making money. And it drove me further to, invest time into it. So dude, it was a wine bottle. I still remember it was a wine bottle. And it was like one of those ice cream mixing shakers, where they're solid
Yeah,
metal and whatnot, they blend and whatnot.
yeah.
And I practiced with that, man. I went to go apply and lied my ass off, and I got the job.
Fake it till you make it, bro.
I faked
Dude,
until I made it, bro.
do you have any like practice bottles or something around you right now that you could show the viewers? Can you give us a little baby show?
Let's see if I got some.
Dude,
Hell
there
yeah.
we go.
Dude,
This
these
is
things,
one
like
of
if
the
you go
best
on a
in the world.
cruise, if you go on a cruise, the bartenders, I actually became really good friends. His name's Ramel. He's from the Philippines. Ramel and Franz. Never forget these two because they were so good. And or like around lunchtime, they would have everybody on the boat just watching these shows. It's crazy. All right, so shout out to the listeners. He's on the YouTube. Go check it out. Okay, he's got it. Yep, he's got it.
This is glass, so if I drop it,
shit.
we have problems.
There we go. Dude,
Damn,
one of the
bro.
best in the world at throwing the dopest parties for people.
Woo.
Yeah, let's go. And
Hey, that was tight though. Hell yeah.
I'm sure
man.
like Vegas
Hell
is
yeah.
probably like the Mecca. What are some other huge cities? Obviously Miami, New York. I'm sure the Bay Area, Texas. There's got to be just these Mecca spots.
It's funny, man. As much as I've traveled, I still have never been to Miami.
Oh,
What?
really? Yeah.
Ever. I've never been to Florida.
Bro.
Next up.
I've been to New York and Georgia and then Texas and everything that way I've seen.
Yeah.
So what?
The farther right hand corner I haven't seen of this country.
Dude, that's
Damn,
awesome though.
But
Yeah,
as
that's
far as,
crazy. You got to get to Miami.
I think I'm saving it just because like I've done everything
Oh, yeah.
already and I've been everywhere. I'm saving it for like a special occasion, like bachelor party, something means something very, very much to me. Where I'm like, okay, screw it, we're gonna go. But
Gotcha.
as far as like, the mecca of, bartending or nightlife or anything like that, it's honestly, it's how far you want to push yourself, how much drive you have to either create a business to where it's just you, or make money where you work. I know bartenders that work in dive bars and make just as much as a bartender in LA or in Vegas.
Yeah.
If you want to go for consistency, Vegas is definitely probably the best place to go. But people also got to remember, this is Vegas. This is a place where sex sells and everything has a price tag. So, I've worked in Intrigue. I worked at Intrigue, Las Vegas at the Wynn Hotel, which was a high nightclub. I worked at Rehab Day Club that was at the Hard Rock at the time.
David Haddon by chance?
Sure do.
Oh yeah.
Haddon's the boy, dude.
Yeah, I know
Haddon's
David.
the boy.
Yep, I know David. It's
Dude, he is the man. He always takes care of us. Every time we're in Vegas, dude. David is just the man, dude.
Bro, remember?
He's definitely an OG.
Yeah.
Like 2017, we won Vegas, and there was a tournament in Vegas. We won the event. Tyler was still on the squad, and he was like, "Yeah, I got you, boys. Come on down to Hakkasan. We'll take care of you." So we walk in thinking like, maybe he's gonna give us a bottle or something.
Whatever,
dude. Bro, they had a full-on like congratulations dynasty thing up on stage. Like it was nuts, dude. They did a whole thing for us. I was like, man, Haddon really has it like that, bro.
Big shout out to David, man. We've had some conversations. I think the last time we really had a conversation where we talked, he was doing like a day party on a boat.
Oh yeah.
On a boat.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And he was doing helicopter tours to the boat. And I told him, I was like, yo, let me jump out of the heli and let me land next to the boat. I think we tried for a little bit. I don't think we could get the permits to sign a NOTAM for me to do it. But yeah, David's definitely the homie. But yeah, man, as far as like Vegas, as you've seen, working in places like that, it's top tier, man. It's not only are you getting paid for your skill, or at least getting an interview or a second interview, or even talk to a director or a manager at that point. It is not only your skill, it is who you know. And it's honestly, it's based off looks. And it's sad to say, I've done those pool auditions, for the day clubs and for nightlife. Like, you have to go up to a panel of judges. You have to stand shirtless and pretty much say, why do you need this job? And give a whole speech. And, as you're sitting there in your board shorts, there's 40 dudes behind you that are jacked, ripped, better looking, better tan. They know this busser and they know that bartender, and they're slapping hands with the manager as they walk in to interview the people. And, there's 500 girls that all want to be bartenders. And you're like,
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
like,
It's a tough job. Because if you
Yeah.
get that job, you're making good money.
So you're making good money, but it's definitely, it's a hard scenario to get into. But once you're in there, you're
Yeah.
usually taken care of. I still could probably continue to work in Vegas, but it's like at some point when I was doing the influencer parties here and for all the YouTubers, I really saw like kind of a bigger picture of what I wanted to do with my life. I love bartending. I will bartend till the day I die. But it's like there's so much more that I wanted to do rather than sling drinks at a nightclub and put some change away. And it was just like everybody, especially you guys now, like it's kind of you guys can actually kind of voice this. Everybody, like when they're kids, when we listen to music or when we watch movies, you kind of envision yourself in your own montage of,
Yeah.
I'm sure when you guys listen to music, when you guys go play paintball, you had a certain way of visualizing how you would slide into this bunker, on the beat drop, how you would shoot, your pump up music, what you would look like, to a walkout music, or, how you would celebrate. All that goes with music. And, I really started like to look at that when I got into like the social media realm, because essentially like all of us, when we daydream, it's to a point of our dreams of what we want to do, and how we want to be perceived in life, and our goals to make us happy. And it's social media really kind of opened up that door for not only me, but for anyone that essentially wanted to get their name out or have their own TV show. Like, I think social media in any aspect of any walk of life has benefited anybody that's took it seriously and actually put some effort into it. Even paintball, I've seen it have a huge spike of, me seeing it more frequently and way more often than I used to back when we all had MySpace.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely been booming. And I think that you're so dead on here, dude, because everybody has their own little TV show essentially, right? And what you were also hitting on that I think is extremely important is the power of positive thinking, the power of thought, and the spoken word, and the way that you use it in your mind. Because, I mean, you manifested all these things that have come into your reality. Is you saw that. You saw it coming. You had the foresight to envision it, to put energy into it, and walk towards it. And that is something that is highly creative and not as common as it should be. Like we need to empower each other. We need to make sure that everyone's boosted and like really chasing their dreams. And like you said, with the daydreams and using that power of thought, how important is that to the whole creative process that you've made your amazing, extreme pro athlete reality,
It's super important, man, because nobody's dreams are how do I say this? Everybody has dreams. Everyone has a vision that is unique and that is beautiful and is extravagant in their mindset. Ty, Marcel, you guys have had dreams of winning World Cups. You have dreams of when you listen to music, when you work out, when you train. Before you're going to practice, you're listening to music. I know you daydream
Oh
of
yeah.
the vision you have of you winning, of you getting on when you go to bed at night, you're dreaming of, a 1-on-4 or 4-on-1, of you playing it out, of you beating somebody and, grabbing that flag. Everybody has that. So now how do you take that picture and put it into reality? As far as, it's hard for you guys because you guys is live. You really can't fake a 4-on-1 because you can't do that at world championships, but that's the vision you have. So when it comes to creating content,
Comes down to the work, man, right?
it comes down to the work. It comes down to, everything. Falling out of plane is real easy, but it's how do you want the shot? How do you want the music to go? How do you want the
really
music
quick
to go to it?
Really quick, if you don't mind me interjecting there really quick.
No problem.
There is that aspect to what we do as well, though, because as a professional paintball player, and we talk about this on the show all the time, you have got to treat it like a business. You're not like a typical professional athlete where your only job is to exercise, prepare, eat a good diet, practice your sport, do drills, and show up and perform.
Mhm.
Playing salaries, they're getting better, and some players are making money solely on competing. But the reality is, if you really want to make money in paintball, you do have to do all of the other stuff. You have to be valuable to your sponsors, which is through content creation and promoting yourself and building your own brand. So there's actually an insane amount of like time and effort that you do have to spend being thoughtful about how you want to package your brand yourself. So whether it's a post or a reel or the podcast or whatever it is, there's a lot of creativity that does go into it. So that daydreaming you're talking about, and even thinking of like clips, I certainly do that. I'm like, oh, this song will be really good if I could get a clip of me, doing this, and whatever it might be. Like, that's such a crucial part to being a professional paintball player, because it's really one of the main ways for us to monetize what we do.
So I'm super glad you guys are bringing this up because, let's rewind the clocks back really before social media, where, kids, especially kids that are looking at you guys now that are huge inspirations to the sport. Back when I was going through the sport, there was no real way of making money on paintball unless you were on a top tier team. And it was like, we all knew, like, it was, unless you're Alex Frazier or Oliver Lang, like, it's sorry, boys, like, it's a slim to none chance, which is why, like, I think the sport back then was kind of somewhat dying off, like, during my age, was because, there was, I think back then that's when Iron Man was the Iron Man was coming around. Dynasty was still doing their thing, and it was just like, yo, those teams are solid. And it's just like, for you to be a 17-year-old kid, 16-year-old kid, and unless you weren't backed by money, and you could be out on the field every day and not have to worry about like problems, like, it was hard. It was hard to continue that lifestyle. And when you got to that lifestyle, how back then were you able to really make money to create a living, rather than now, where if you have a large
Absolutely.
audience on Instagram or YouTube, or you have a podcast where people listen into you, you can be a young kid of the age of 15 in high school playing paintball, and have sponsors and have brand deals and have the backing that essentially that all of us wanted, back in the day as kids, and it just wasn't there at the time. So I completely agree with you, like, especially in today's world. There's an audience out there that, is going to watch you, that wants to, learn tips. If you're going to do tips on, snap shooting, on running drills and whatnot, there's going to be a large number of people who are involved in the sport of paintball that will continue to watch you. And with that comes brands, comes sponsors,
Yeah.
like, hey, this is the products that we use for
100%.
these types of drills. And that's what I like, that's happening for the sport right now, especially just because it's giving kids who maybe don't have so much, I guess, not even talent, because obviously, if you're good at paintball, like, if you're a talented individual, you'll get on a good team. But for the kids that, are just maybe just in it, just love playing,
Totally.
they can afford the sport, you
Yeah.
know? And
Yeah, man.
that's why I really love about like social media is you can almost do anything now. And if you have the drive and if you have the goal for it, you can make any business fulfilling. I literally watch a guy on TikTok. His name is I think it's Dale Cracker. He literally catches crawfishes, man, and boils them, and he talks with like a super southern draw. And I followed him when he had 100K. I just thought he was funny. Now he has like 5 million, his own business, and he literally
Wow.
cooks crawfish, dude.
Wow.
But it's just because he's hilarious, and it's awesome to see that anything you can do, and if you have a drive and passion for it, you can make a business out of it. And I'm super stoked to see paintball getting on the social media scale of it. Seeing you guys on Sports Center, seeing people slide into Snake, and you know, even though if they miss a reload and half their pod goes out, or somebody getting bonus ball 10 extra times, like, it's making a bigger name for itself. And that's generally like back when I was in it, and currently that's what we want for the sport. Cause we were always talking about when we were kids, like, oh, it should be in the Olympics. Like it should, it should
Yeah.
be like on ESPN, and, you know, for a time it was on ESPN too,
Mhm.
you know, and we wanted to see more of that. So I'm just super stoked to see it, like it grow as a whole.
Us
Yeah,
too,
I
man.
mean, there's like a massive boom right now with a lot of the videographers and photographers that are posting to their Instagram. I mean, actually, majority of the videographers now have more followers than any of the top pro players. Like a bunch of these guys in literally the last week have gained like 50,000 followers. Reels are popping off, and I think people, the general public, is seeing footage of paintball in a easy to consume 15-second clip that actually highlights a good shot or something, and they're like, whoa, what is this? This is pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
So I think it's really gaining some traction right now, and we've talked about this also on the show ad nauseum. You know, I feel like we're on the brink of like getting some sort of real, you know, outside sponsorship where a company looks at it. Maybe it's, you know, Monster Energy drink and get, you know, come back in and try to do something, or, you know, one of those kind of companies, and they are going to start to see the value, because what we have is a spectacular sport. It's a lot of fun. It's really engaging. There's a huge loyal base. Like to this day, I think that paintball players, like that Balls energy drink, if you see a Balls energy drink somewhere, it's like nostalgic, you know, you're like, hell yeah, because they came in, they sponsored the NPPL, they came to the events, gave out free, you know, balls, and then they had a bunker on the field. And honestly, it's like amongst paintball players, that's one of the most well-known energy drinks there are.
And it's nostalgia to the max, like for
Totally,
sure.
dude. Totally.
Yeah.
For sure. I
But
definitely remember those.
but these things are, you're right, they're going viral. And then, you know, you saw the clip on SportsCenter and ESPN. Those clips got better engagement than most of the other stuff around them, you know, and that's
Mhm.
crazy. That's massive. You know, they have a team. They have a team. The listeners on PTG are probably sick of hearing me say this, but they have a team that is seeing that. They're seeing, oh, we just posted this paintball clip and it outperformed the LeBron James dunk. It outperformed, you know, all of the other stuff they have right around it. So they're going to keep posting it. That's their job. Their only job is to make sure those numbers are good. So, you know, it's huge that and part of that is what I was referring to, the loyalty in the paintball community. It's like anytime paintball players see stuff like that, everybody attacks it. You know, they're like,
Mhm.
yeah, everyone's sharing, everyone's posting, everyone's commenting. And that is like more important than you guys understand, you guys being the listeners right now, right? So continue to do it. You know, it's fantastic. Anytime there's paintball love from like some sort of outside company, we got to continue to show out.
Absolutely, man. And like I completely agree with it. And like, you know, same thing when, you know, for the most part, you know, outside media companies like that really focus on the views. They want to, you know, next
Mm-hmm.
video better be good as this. But you know, after a while, you know, I have a relationship with SportsCenter. I have a relationship with like House of Highlights. You know, all these different kinds of media companies, and it's just like
Wow. Yeah.
it's the same thing, right? It's always basketball player did this player did
Mm-hmm.
this, and
Mm-hmm.
like it gets kind of overdundant to like there's more to sports than what you guys just post. Like, you know, after a while, like football is boring. Like it's like cool, he made a tackle, cool, he made a pass. Like it was the same thing for the last four videos. So, you
Easy
know,
for you to
like
say when you're jumping out of airplanes, bro, but I still think
So,
those football clips are pretty tight.
well, no, but you get what I mean.
I do.
It kind of
Yeah.
starts to
Yeah.
blur together as far as
yeah.
like
Yeah.
when you get posted
Certainly.
on a media page, is if it's
Yep.
football, and then you got
Certainly.
like a video like mine where it's
Totally.
completely different to the outside. You know, 99.9% of the people have never done this in their entire life, or have never even seen this point of view that I offered them, and that's
Yeah.
why it did so well. Like,
Yeah. Certainly.
when that video went viral for me, I literally, dude, I had every media company you can think of in my back pocket, like just all blue check marks
Wow.
and all like flooded my DMs. It took me weeks to
Wow.
go through it all. And, you know, after I did, it was like, you know, Sports Center, Beautiful Destinations, House of Highlights, Memes Are, you know, all like, you know, all these pages with plus 30 million and up, and, you know, World Star,
Mhm.
like me and World Star have a good relationship. And like, I talk to them every time like I might have an idea coming up, like, hey, get ready to post this. So, and it creates opportunities. So like when paintball gets posted on something like Sports Center, it is something completely different that they never posted before.
Yeah.
Regardless of the
Correct.
fact of what that person was doing, whether if it was someone sliding in a snake, someone running out to the back left, someone, bonus balling, somebody walking off, missing a reload. All those are, for one, you made it. We're up on there. That's good.
Totally.
And it's something people don't ever seen. And with that, you have people that are inexperienced. You have gamers, because gamers are a real big thing in the paintball community. They'll at least understand to some point. And then you have the diehard paintball fans. And within that, you have the comment section. You have the people that don't understand. They're going to be like, oh, he's just wasting paint. He's shooting at nothing. This takes no skill. And with that, there are the loyal paintball fans that will comment under that saying, this is why, and you'll get that by the hundreds. And, with that, you'll have, the paintball players, the gamers and all that will feed content. Like, how many times I saw one of the videos like, oh, he just slide canceled.
Like slide canceled, dude.
It feeds it, man. So like, it's good to see that. It's good to see that. And, with that, it's what is paintball going to do to further do that thing? That's when you guys really start thinking about as far as social media. I mean, like you said, Marcelo, some of the photographers and videographers that are out on your guys' fields are having higher followings because they own the actual rights to the content and they can post it however they see fit. So, and with that, it's like, okay, at what point do paintball players have actual own photographers for their own? Of, you are just shooting me. That is it. I own the rights to this content. And at what point does it get like that to where in the sport of paintball, a lot of kids in today's I would assume paintball world are just happy as hell if photographers taking shots of them or getting a clip of them doing something. Yeah. And they're just stoked to be in the next, dude, what was it? I think it was Chrono 300 back in my day.
Yeah, 100%.
I was just stoked to have a camera looking at me. I don't care what you did with it. I don't care if I was picking my nose. I don't care like if I got blasted in the face. Like, I just wanted to see the clip. Yeah. Now, you got to think in terms of paintball growing as a whole, and as far as individuals growing whole. Because if individuals in paintball grow as a whole, essentially the whole sport will grow. So when you have, potentially like it will be like vlogging or be like content creating, where either each player has his own photographer or videographer to where they own the content to where they can post it. Because for the most part, a lot of players might not get some potential clips that were super on the money or like, yo, like you didn't get that. Like, that was the best, like that was the hardest I've ever charged up snake and killed it. Dude, I think I'm getting a little sidetracked here.
I got to hit on something. This is the most important thing that anybody could be doing right now with social media and the way that it is designed. Like PTG, we have our own photographer that is out there getting video, making sure that we got some photos. It is the utmost important thing that you could be doing, because with that, you're going to be able to post those reels that are just, the traction off of them is so heavy right now. And, it might not last. It's always shifting and it's always moving. So you got to strike while it's hot too.
That's why, man. And I want to say Mark posted it, but it was somebody running up center 50 and literally took out the whole team. He was wearing like some leopard jersey.
That's Tyler's teammate.
That's Chad, Boucher, baby, the Leopard King.
The Leopard King.
I saw that video go everywhere, dude. He literally just like, like, and that video went hot.
Oh, so 100%.
Just so everybody knows, too, he also has the fastest point in pro paintball. He ran down the field and did that again in I think 7 seconds and scored a point.
Wow. So it wasn't bullshit. He does that on a daily thing.
Yeah, he gets down.
And that's what it's about, is now essentially, yes, you're a team. Your dynasty, you have this, you have that, you have all these teams, but essentially within those players, not also are you representing a team, you're also somewhat representing yourself. So the more content you get out there representing yourself, the more brands are going to want to work with you, work with that team, and work with the sport of paintball. And it's all just a growing thing. So it's super cool to see clips like that, of a sport I've always been in love with, and it's still to this
Dude.
day, no matter how many times I've jumped off of buildings or bridges, me diving in a snake and three guns are on me, I still have never touched that side of adrenaline in extreme sports ever. Ever.
Real
Dude,
quick. So
That's a
usually,
statement. That's a statement.
yeah,
That's
it is.
crazy.
And so usually we wait till the end to ask guest questions. First, we have a whole community. Shout out to the PTG world. We got a Discord, and they ask a bunch of questions. But that leads me into this one because I saw it in there. So I would like to ask from Step Decked. He wanted to know if you had to compare which you would say punch you more full of adrenaline when you first jump out of an airplane or getting bunkered on the field not knowing the player was there.
Paintball 100% hands down will always win adrenaline for me personally over
That's
any
crazy
extreme
to me,
sports I've
dude.
ever done. Like
Dude.
I've jumped off of buildings, I've jumped off of antennas, I've jumped off of 800-foot cliffs, I've jumped off a lot of things. I've skydived from 18,000 feet. I've skydived over Hawaii. I've came on my canopy doing 40 miles an hour, and I swear on the Bible that there's nothing that makes my heart beat faster than when I'm in the snake or when I'm on the field. Like,
Dude,
and
that's
legendary.
I'm rolling my gun down the field because we've all been there. We've all sat there and we've went
Yep.
and get into it where we have to just take a breath, especially with you guys, like Tyler. Like, I watched 15. I watched that, that championship game, bro. Like, your heart must have been like, yo, everything is on the line.
Booming.
Like, dude, your heart has probably beat harder than mine has ever done.
No way, dude.
I
There's
promise,
not a chance.
I promise you, bro. I will take both of you skydiving, and I will promise you, what is more crazy?
Yeah.
Bro, honestly, my biggest fear, my biggest concern about skydiving is I truly believe that I'll have a heart attack and die.
You won't. I promise you.
Dude, I am so afraid of heights, and I've really tried to and what's actually interesting is I'm not afraid at all of flying. Like, you're so high up that I feel like you lose the perspective of heights. But I feel like if I was in a hot air balloon or anything, I get this weird feeling inside me of anxiety that I want to almost just jump, like without a parachute. It's so weird. Bro. No, my God. It's like I'm concerned that I would honestly have a heart attack and not be able to. Well, obviously I would go tandem. That's how you do it your first
of course.
time, I'm sure. But
and
I don't know. I'm so worried that I would have a heart attack. That's a genuine concern.
So balloon jumps are, and I'll make sure we speed this up so we can get to other questions. Balloon jumps, it's you do get that kind of that roller coaster feeling because you're going from 0 to 120, and it's just because there's no air, or I mean there's air obviously, but there's no wind. It's dead quiet and it's just super peaceful. But when you do look over that edge, there's some type of vertigo because you kind of know how high you are because you're slowly ascending.
Yeah.
In a plane, when you look out of an airplane when you guys are traveling, like,
right,
unless the pilot says it, you don't know how high you are. After about 1,000 feet, you don't know how high you are. So you lose that depth perception. So when you jump out of a plane, and when you jump out of a plane, there's also there's not that roller coaster feeling that everybody's scared of. They're like, oh, I hate that roller coaster feeling. Well, because you got to think, when you're flying in a plane, you're also going like 80 miles an hour, right? And you're also going to fall. So when you jump out of a plane,
when you're flying in a plane, you're going like 500 miles per hour.
Well, no. I'm saying in an actual skydiving plane. So like a skydiving plane, you're not going like commercial speed.
Okay.
They slow.
They only go 80 miles an hour.
Like 80, bro. I mean, they slow it down.
Okay.
They slow it down for you so the skydiver can exit out safely.
Gotcha.
Because
okay, that makes sense. I always wondered. I'm like, I'm like, how does this even work?
to Mach 5. No, so like when you jump out, you're doing like 80. So like you get like a slow and steady fall. So, and it's honestly, dude, it's how I explain it to people. It's the equivalent of you honestly chilling on a floaty in a pool. It's just, it's weightlessness, bro. It's like there's nothing there. So it's like, and you get it for a little bit and then you feel some speed, but then it's normal. It's like there's no feeling, just a little pressure. It's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've done the like mock skydiving, the indoor skydiving stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Is
It's good
that
training.
any bit like realistic to how it feels?
100%.
Oh wow, maybe I should go do that.
Yeah, going to wind tunnel. There's one in Oceanside. There's one at Paris. There's one in Mobile. No, not Mobile, Ontario. So they're all over the place. And yeah, so we actually train in those to where we can do types of tricks where we could
Yeah.
go like on our head and to our feet because it simulates the actual fall of doing 100 miles an hour falling. So yeah, you should try it.
Very cool.
Yeah, no, this is what so yeah, let's dive in a little bit, dude. Like how you got into that and what it really entails and how you've turned it into a profession and yeah, just kind of want to dive down the rabbit hole on that because it's so fascinating to me.
Yeah. So like it never really intends to start out like that. I started doing it for like I really just wanted to try it, and I really wanted to get into the sport. And then I met some of these influencers, and like I started to realize like they were making money doing this. They were going around traveling. They were jumping out of planes and getting paid because brands love that type of content because who else is doing it?
So
Nobody.
rare,
That's
yeah.
right.
Nobody. So I worked with a few brands from time to time. It's like, oh, a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there, $1,000, jump out of a helicopter. All of that really started getting good, and then I just I still stayed in contact, and I follow a lot of creative pages, I guess you would say, as far as like photography and videography. And then paying attention to the algorithms of how things work, of TikTok, of Reels. Everybody's attention span is 2 to 3 seconds of where you got to capture somebody's eye, and really making a video beautiful. Because anybody can film a video jumping out of a plane. Anybody can. Like it's GoPro,
Well,
this, that.
I would make that argument that I can't.
But even then, you can go tandem and you can hire an outside video guy, right?
Yeah, no, I still can't do that.
Well,
not yet, brother.
okay, he's gonna go tandem, and I'm gonna have somebody film him as he falls. So somebody will
Yeah.
film
Hell
you as you're falling with a tandem, but
Yeah.
you'll get that.
No, I'm just saying I'm too scared. That's all I'm saying. I'm not jumping out. So
I'm literally just saying this just so it's like it's a must now. So like we
Yeah.
have
Okay,
to do
all
it
right.
just so we can get it done.
It's a
That's
done
like-
deal.
Yeah, dude. I like it.
That's Tyler's birthday wishes for all
Oh
three of us to go.
shit.
Send it.
Oh my god, dude.
So, but it it takes some kind of creative trial and error, what works, what doesn't. After my video popped off, I kind of started to realize what worked, and that's what I further changed my content to. A lot of one shot takes. When you clip a lot of individual, you start to lose the viewer's attention, and and with that, and even before, I started working with brands, and now it's a little bit better of a pitch to be like, hey, listen, I will make this video for you guys, and I do a lot of how I guess you can say it. I do a lot of brand like brand placing and like subliminal brand placing, meaning like I won't tag the company, I won't like genuinely like put them in the video. It'll just be subliminal. So like the last one I did where I did like rock paper scissors.
Dude, I was just gonna ask you about that because that one was going crazy. It was what show did I just see that on? It was on a
Access
show.
Hollywood.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It was on Access Hollywood.
Yeah, so that's crazy.
Yeah, man, and that was a brand deal.
Yep.
But it's did you know there was a brand in it?
No, because you're running the most Houdini type style marketing we've ever seen.
So there is a brand in that video, and it's literally right where my hands are. And that's what I like further pitch to brands is, listen, the best way to get, for me to make money, for you guys to get recognition, for all this to work is to create reshareable content. Like, yeah, your video might be good, but usually for the most part is when you are trying to sell a product or sell a brand, it starts to become an ad. It starts to become I'm trying to sell you, and none of us like that. So it's better when it comes
Correct.
organically. It's better when it comes, out of somebody's own fruition. Like I just did another Instagram post where I was wearing a jacket, and it's a huge mushy coat. Like it had mushrooms all over it, and it was reflective and it glowed.
I hit you up on that one. I was like, that's the dopest jacket of all time.
So I'm working with that brand currently, and a lot of
we're
people.
We're gonna plug it for you. Yeah, I got your Instagram up for the YouTubers. Go check out this spicy ass jacket. How do I get one of these?
I'll let you know soon.
There we go. Nice.
I'm currently working with the brand, but that's what does really, really well on social media is creating reshareable content. Because if, let's say, Paintball, if you posted a video of, hey, buy this new gun, here's a quick video of us using it, how many people are going to share that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is SportsCenter going to share it? Is MemeStar going to share it? Is WorldStar going to share it? Is all these big companies potentially going to share it? And it's like, no. But if you had a gun that was like see-through, and like you can actually see through it all, and you posted it and it got viral and it went all over the place, how many people are going to be like, hey, I want that gun. Where did you get it? And that's when you work with brands as far as like, and you could still do like actual branded content, but it's just got to come down to you and the brand of price. And hey, this might not do so well because I'm doing a sell, but I'm going to stand by this product, and you're going to, eventually pay me this much. And that's how I really started getting into it. And, being friends with, influencers, YouTubers and stuff like that, we really get to pick our brains. Like, well, what do you charge? You have 500,000 followers. That's how much you charge? Okay. I only have 300. So maybe I should drop mine a little bit more, or, you might be able to work with this brand to get paid this much. I might not have the biggest following as you do, but they want me to jump out of a plane or off a building. So does my stunt rate go up, or does my price go up because they want me to jump off a building and risk my life holding their brand? So now my price goes up, but my post, my monetization for as far as post goes, might drop further than there. So it's a lot of give and go. And it's still a lot of trial and error for me, because everything's always changing. TikTok
Dude,
changes,
that's PTG.
changes.
Play the game.
Play the game, bro. Like you have to be well-rounded. If this is your business, if this is what you want to do, you really have to, learn everything that has to come with it. YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram. Like it's all all revolving, changing doors.
Dude, can we walk us through your first jump?
Dude, no problem. I still remember it to this day. So during when I did the summer raid party, a friend of mine called Alex Hayes, who lives out in Australia, posted a YouTube video. And mind you, I didn't really know any influencers at the time. I just knew Summer. I didn't know who Logan, Jake was, anybody. Didn't know any of them. But I kind of knew of Alex, and he posted this video of him jumping over Australia, and I'm like, dude, that is sick, like helicopter jumps. And then he was at the party. I'm like, hey, dude, yo, when we gonna go skydiving, bro? Let's go. He's like, bro, we're going this weekend. You want to go? And I was like, yeah. And like, I was super down for it, but it was just the fact of the matters of these guys were going to be jumping out of the plane by themselves, and I'm going to be strapped to somebody, and I'm not going to look as cool as them. So I was like, all right, dude, I got to go do this. So my birthday was a week after that party, and a buddy of mine took me up to Santa Barbara for my first tandem jump, and we went, dude, and I wasn't nervous. Like they took us up to 18,000 feet. So not only was it my first one, it was also one of my highest skydives I've ever done. And it was my first one.
Damn.
Yeah. And
how high were you guys up?
18,000 feet.
What? You don't need oxygen at that height?
No, what? You did. That's why my first jump, bro, I was like, I had like a thing in my nose, and I was like, yo, this is the first jump, bro, for real. And dude, like, we got out of that plane, man. It was just the most blissful, euphoric feeling that, like, I don't know if your viewers watch this, but if you guys have, experience in psychedelics or anything like that, it comes to that of just your your mind literally stops and you don't think about anything else but the sensory overload that you get of seeing clouds, this earth, the wind on your face, seeing the ocean, seeing some part of, actually, by the way, the earth is round. The
Okay,
curvature.
good. I'm glad we
Hold
could
up.
clear that up. I'm glad we could clear that up.
Hold up.
Clip
Got
Yeah,
the
that.
put the
tinfoil
tinfoil,
hats.
put the tinfoil hats on, baby.
Are we
got 'em. We're
sure?
ready.
Are we sure?
The earth is round. I have
We're
seen the
ready.
curvature of the earth from 18K. It is round. I don't
All
care
right.
what anybody
So maybe
says.
you are paid to say that, my friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
You might be a
right?
government shill.
Hey, if
Mhm.
anybody wants to pay me to shut up, bro, slide in the DMs. Hang on, guys, real quick. My computer's dying.
Oh, he's got a tinfoil hat too. He's going to grab it. He's getting his tinfoil hat. No. I'm glad we could clear that one up because that's been a hot topic,
Dude,
right?
it's definitely, like, I even trolled sorry, here, let me get this. I even
Yeah.
like trolled a lot of my because I knew, because like we talked about before, it reshareable content, right?
Yeah.
Engagement, people, resharing and sending it to friends, like that's how videos go viral. And I
That's
literally
it.
made a video that was a 360 camera on my head, and when I exited the plane, I made it look like the earth was the world was super super round,
Yeah.
and then I zoomed it in, and then I literally
it-
put in my caption, and I was like, the earth is flat. just so I can see the people, like,
Yeah.
dude, man, them flat earthers, man, were going hard on everybody. Like, I told you
It's
guys.
wild. Yeah.
It's wild, man. So yeah,
It's-
It's a movement. It's still up for debate. We have no facts. We have no facts, right?
it's a fact, bro. It is round. Hey, find out for yourself. We'll find out for Tyler's
Exactly.
birthday jump.
There we go. And we're going to the moon. PTG's going to the moon. You got a seat on the rocket anytime, brother. We're going straight to the top. And we can't wait to get there. Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was my first jump, man. Free fall was about 70 seconds. That's how long it usually is in standard skydiving from belly to earth.
How fast are you falling down through the air?
Out of belly, you're falling at roughly around 110, 120 miles an hour. There's times where I've got up to like 130 and I'm straight down, pinned, hauling
Dude,
ass.
On that Ironman type style, just
Oh,
booming
bro.
through the sky.
Yeah, bro. And those are the kind of jumps I like the most. Because especially when you're flying with your friends and you're just pinned, and it's like you feel pressure and you got to fly at a certain angle or else you'll like wash out.
Dude, what's your take
rad.
on these flying squirrel suits where these guys are ripping down the mountains, like scraping by the mountains? How crazy is that stuff?
That's the ultimate.
Dude,
That's the ultimate.
next level.
Do you do that?
So I've done wingsuits. I do base jumps. Both I need much more experience in before doing that, because
so dangerous. Oh my god.
You're pushing the envelope. And
you're pushing it. Yeah.
It's base jumping is already a super dangerous sport. It's one of the most dangerous sports a human being can do. Wingsuiting, I love it. Just standard wingsuiting out of a plane is amazing, bro. You're doing what humans want to do. You're flying.
Yeah.
When you do proximity, man, it's what it's
okay.
called proximity base jumping. It takes a lot of training. It takes a lot of wingsuit jumps. It takes, there's a lot of things that come into play. Temperature, humidity, even winds, the exit point, the way you pack your rig matters. It's very, very extreme, and it's definitely the ultimate. And yeah, man, it's a dream I'm having, but
please, no, take it easy. You don't need to do all that.
Exactly.
Hey, that's like these guys who climb the mountains with no rope. I know you saw that show on Netflix where I forget his name. Yeah, Free Solo. I mean, that is just No, dude, you're fine. Use the rope, get up there. It's like, that's just so much.
And it's funny. It's funny you say that. Is it Marc Andre? I think is his name.
Yeah.
Marc Andre. He was free solo. Did a lot of ice. Yeah, they did a Netflix show on him called
Alex Honnold.
Honnold. So Alex Honnold did free solo. Marc Andre Leclerc, I think is his name, did the
ice climbing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man.
So
crazy.
In base jumping, a lot of base jumpers are familiar with climbing because usually you have to get to objects by climbing. And dude, those guys are insane.
Next level, just off the charts.
Those guys literally just hanging by fingertips and they're like this, just kicking their feet. It's
thank you.
Like I said, I did that rock, paper, scissors jump, bro, and I was holding on that pole for 10 seconds, and I swear to God, it was the hardest thing I've ever done in a while. Because I was just like,
oh yeah,
God,
that video was sick too.
I was like, dude, it's moving. I was like, I'm gonna fall, and like I got a parachute on my back, and it's just like those guys are nuts, and and even those communities, man, it's just like base jumping is illegal in Yosemite. You can't jump like El Cap or Half Dome, but you can free solo it.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Like,
yeah.
How does that work? If he slips and falls, he dies. I at least have a parachute.
Yeah, it's true.
Like and there's been a lot of controversy in that type.
Dude, God bless both of your communities and everything that is going on those mountains and flying out of planes and off of everything imaginable, because you guys just have mentality that is ironclad. It's bulletproof, and and I know you guys are pros. You're always going to obviously be professional about what you do, but there's also that huge element of risk always.
Yeah, and with skydiving is super safe. There's honestly like I'm talking atom percentage of something going wrong. And even if something does go wrong, which is literally slim to none, you have a backup parachute. I've done 1,000 skydives and have never had a problem. Have never had to do an emergency procedure, which
knock on wood. Yeah, absolutely.
But at the same time, I want it to happen. I want to have a cutaway. I want to go to my reserve, because when that time comes, and if it ever happens again, I want to know and test myself. I need to know this procedure. Like I need to know. I need to be prepared. And when you're skydiving, when you're at like usually the safest altitude to pull is 5,000 feet. Okay, which is the usual height of a balloon flight, is where we exit out at. And with that time from there to the ground is a chance to, is my parachute okay? Do I have is everything safe over my head? And if not, I got to cut away. So like you still have a good amount of time of free fall left. And with the way technology is going, with skydiving, your parachute has a reserve in it that has a spring in it this big. So like when you pull your reserve, it's a spring, bro. It's like it's huge, and they compress it to this much. So when you release the pin, it ejects your reserve for you. So now let's say you can't reach your procedures, right? You can't get away from it. There's a chip in the back of every parachute that's called an AAD. What this AAD does is you turn it on before you get to the ground, so it knows the altitude it started at. When you go up in the plane, it measures the altitude that you get to. So when you jump out, it's constantly measuring your rate of fall, your altitude, everything. And built in every AAD, there's an automatic discharge, which is what it's for. So let's say we go skydiving, right? You guys get your license. We're going to go on a crazy jump. Me and you, we bump heads out of the plane. We're knocked out. Okay, we're not going to be able to pull our own thing. At 1,000 feet, if you're going at like 120 miles an hour, it's going to say, no, screw you. This guy's not going to do it. I'll do it myself. And it will actually pull the pin for you.
Yeah, because that was another concern of mine. I was like, man, I feel like I would, if it's not a heart attack, I might pass out, or something.
Yeah, so I mean,
they got you covered.
There's actually three different ways that it could save your life. One is your main, your constant use that always has to work. The next is called a skyhook or RSL, which is if you do cut away, there's a hook that's connected from your main riser, from your main canopy to your reserve. So when you do cut away and your main goes away, it will actually pull your reserve out for you to where you don't even have to pull this one. So there's that one, there's your actual where you pull it, and then there's your AAD. So there's like 4 things that make skydiving very, very safe. Now base jumping, you don't have time. That's a whole different breed of animal. That's knowing your pack job, because in skydiving I can pack my parachute in like a trash bag and just be like, all right, we're good to go. Base jumping, it's very delicate folds because it's how the parachute opens. It's not even how the parachute opens, is if it opens in the right direction, right? Because you can jump off a building, but what happens if the parachute goes like this and twists and goes towards the building you just jump off of?
Oof, yeah.
That's what we call having a 180 or an off heading. So you have to pack the parachute so precise where the nose of the canopy, when you open it, and where you're facing that's where it's going to go. So it's very, very precise, and it's your body positioning. If your shoulders, turn one way too much, right? So when the parachute opens, right, this side is digging in more, so your parachute's going to go this way. So it's a very
it's synchronized
very technical.
It's very technical, and that's also the thing with social media now. Base jumping's cool, right? Like doing this is really insane. So growing my social media and doing these types of things, there's also, you got to take account for some kind of responsibility of not just I'm making cool videos and whatnot, because you don't know who you're inspiring. You don't know that some kid could go buy a base jumping rig, throw it all together, watch a YouTube video, and go try to do this, and it's like an accident can happen. So I try to answer every DM I possibly can, and I get them by the hundreds of people that just want to go base jump, want to go just do it, and it's like, have you skydived before? No. Well, I don't recommend you base jumping because it's not a happy-go-lucky thing. Yeah, even though it is, it's like you are literally, there's a percentage of your life you are risking. There is no doubt about it.
Yeah, you got to be dialed in, and you got to understand the fundamentals of body positioning and the way that it's going to affect the parachute and all of that. That's next level.
You want to throw a gainer off a bridge? Now you really you gotta think about it. And when you land, you get some adrenaline shakes, but I promise you, paintball still gives me a bigger adrenaline rush.
That's crazy.
That's
wow. That's a testament.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
How many jumps before you were able to go solo, go by yourself?
So your first one, you can go solo.
Do that?
Your first one,
I thought you had. I thought
your first one you go by yourself. So, and this is how it works.
So you don't have to go tandem.
You don't have to. No. You can go tandem. I wanted to see if I'd obviously like it. I loved it. There was one part of the whole skydive experience that I kind of was like a little about, and it was being under canopy, which is completely understandable now because, like, do you guys get car sick, or have you guys ever gotten car sick?
Yeah,
no,
I haven't.
Not for me.
When you're driving snowboarding up to Big Bear and you're in the back seat, you're not driving, you're just going like this. It's like, get me out of this car. Something like that of the sort of somebody else was steering and my equilibrium wasn't catching up to be able to prepare me. So I got a little queasy, but I'm like, I got on the ground. I was like, oh man, I was like, is this going to ruin it for me? And then I was talking to the tandem guy. He's like, no, dude. He's like, when you go solo, he's like, it's like you're driving the car. So you'll be fine. I was like,
gotcha.
Cool.
Interesting.
So your first jump could be by yourself. You have to go
What's
through...
the training? Yeah, what's the training? How do they prepare you for that?
So you go through what's called ground school. So ground school is pretty much where they teach you everything you want to know about skydiving. Everything. Like like probably it's literally information overload to where you're dead positive you can jump by yourself because it's not that big a deal, because they talk to you about the gear, everything, wind, the plane, emergency procedures, this, because you're roughly in for 6 hours. Once you do that, you go with 3 instructors. 2 are holding you, like one's holding you on one side, the other one's holding you on another, and then there's your outside instructor that's watching you head on, pretty much giving you like finger signs of what to do. After you exit, they hold on to you, they make sure you're stable, they go okay, they go pull, you reach back and you pull your own thing, you pull your own pilot chute. At that point in time, you're on radio, so you're not just like up there like I don't know where to go.
Yeah.
Because that's what a lot of people think. Like when they see videos like mine, they're like, "Where do you land?" Because the world looks so small. They're like, "How do you know where you're going?" So you get radioed and you land. You go back, you debrief, and you have to do this 10 more times. Within those 10 times, you get time in the wind tunnel, which you can go and they let you go. You can kind of like move on your own. You get to feel the air. And then as you move up levels, like as you get to 4, you'll jump with only 2 instructors and then 1 instructor. And then after 6, I think it's 6, they ask you like, hey, can you spot the drop zone? And you go, yeah, sure, it's right there. And they kick you out.
See ya.
They kick you out because they want to be able to see if you could get stable on your own, which you should because you have 5 jumps prior and 10 minutes of tunnel time. So usually you're fine. And honestly,
You'll be fine, Marcelo. You'll be fine.
It's the funnest part about it, dude. So
yeah.
And then, you do that and you do the rest of your courses where they teach you how to turn around, go back, fly stable, da 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 da. And then after that, I mean, at that point, you're already jumping solo. You're just jumping with somebody. And then that's pretty much your permit. So cool. You did 10 jumps, you got your permit. So now it's time for you to go kind of experience what being on a drop zone is like. So this is like where you learn to manifest, to rent gear, to, you have to do a packing course where you go and you learn how to pack. And then you do 10 solo jumps on your own. You just jump out, you're by yourself. You can't jump with anybody else. Then you do a hop and pop, which is getting out at low altitude, which is like 3,000 or 5,000, just in case something was wrong with the plane. The pilot said, hey, you got to get out. We have an emergency. You can perform that duty. And then you do 5 coach jumps, kind of like if I wanted to take you, like, you did your AFF, you did your jumps, and it was like, hey, Freddy, I want to be coached. Be like, all right, cool, let's go, dude. Let me see what you're working with. We jump out. Okay, you need to work on your legs coming in closer. You need to work on your hands. You need to arch a little bit more. You need to pull a little bit higher. Okay, we'll do 4 more. And then, all right, bro, I sign you off, and you're good to go. Then you go and take your test, and then your A license, and then you can come jump with me and all your friends as much as you want.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Just start shredding. My parents actually both were skydivers. My mom would go like on the weekends just for fun in Lodi, California, up north.
Good old Lodi.
Yeah, dude. And my dad was a ranger, like an airborne infantry ranger. So he jumped out of a lot of planes.
And you've never went skydiving?
Dude, no, I just played paintball and I was like, I'd rather go to the paintball field. I'll just keep going to the paintball field. Yeah.
Come on, bro. Like,
I know.
That's a given.
It's in my future for sure. I'm in the sky, 100%.
Well, let's do it. Where are you located?
I'm out here in Arizona, so I'm gonna have to head to the West Coast. And me, you, and Marcelo, we're all going.
Oof. I'm not making any public promises yet, but this definitely has tilted me more in the direction, man. And it's something that I know, like, I want to do because it's one of my biggest fears. So it would be really badass to be able to overcome that. And holy shit, dude, if I could ever get to a point where I am able to jump out solo, that'd be pretty tight.
Send it.
Pretty tight.
Send it.
I think you should.
Oh man, yeah. We might. We might. So
did you? Sorry. You're in SoCal, right?
Yeah, I'm in Los
LA.
Angeles.
Yep. Did you always know that you were going to be into pro, extreme sports, doing all these different types of extreme activities? Or I know this kind of really kicked into overdrive when the world kind of shut down, the same way that our show kind of kicked into overdrive because it was like, yo, we got to find something to do. Let's have some fun. Let's shift. Let's pivot. And I know that you really have been hitting it hard as of the last few years with the extreme sports.
Extreme sports was kind of always like around me. I was in motocross like from 5 to 15.
No way. Nice.
Yeah, so like I would, Paris. I mean, I literally grew up around Paris, and like I raced motocross for a long, long time, and it just got like way too dangerous where my family was pulling me out because my friends were always hurt. But even living in that area, skydivers were always like there. It just never really clicked then of that's what I wanted to do, but I always saw them, and it was just like, oh, that's like cool, like that's interesting, So that was always around me, when I was always at the river, and wakeboarding was always the thing, so that was a part of it. Snowboarding was always a part of it. Paintball was a huge part of it, and I consider that extreme sport just because of how meticulous and how precise the whole sport is. It's not just running and gunning. There's it's extreme as far as like teamwork and communication, and dealing with everything that paintball has to offer, and coming out with a dub is an extreme sport. And it just always felt natural that would also be something I like. It wasn't, not the fact, like I don't look at skydiving as an extreme sport just because like I know how safe it is, and I know that I'm more scared snowboarding now in my life just because I've done over 1,000 jumps and I've never gotten hurt. I know people that snowboarded 5 times in their life and they broke their wrist, broke their collarbone, messed up their knee, got a concussion. It's like, is snowboarding down Big Bear, down the bunny slopes extreme, or is skydiving extreme? And the way how I finally gathered
they're both, dude. They're both.
And it's just the way I gathered it. It's just a matter of, perception. Most people, that don't have cars in some parts of the world where we like doing 110 miles an hour is the most craziest batshit crazy thing a human being can do, right? Surfing to a lot of people is an extreme sport. Big wave riders I think are the gnarliest human beings on the planet because you are actually fucking with nature. And I believe it's just a matter of perspective of what you deem is scary and what not. Of course, skydiving is looked at as scary because you are doing something that human beings can't physically do on their own, that they need something for them to be safe, and it requires a parachute, and it's super safe. I think snowboarding is the most dangerous thing a lot of people can do just because the margin of error of newbie riders, and just going down the hill and you catching an edge and you just sticking your hands out breaks your wrist.
Yeah, but it's two different things though, right? So it's like with snowboarding, the margin error, you could break your wrist, twist your knee, get a concussion, you could die. But with skydiving, if I understand it's low percentage, understand all that, but it's the idea that if shit goes wrong, it's over.
Yeah, it's perception, right? And you can. Who do you think? What has more deaths, skydiving or snowboarding?
Probably snowboarding.
Well, I don't know. If you include the wingsuits, I think that takes the cake.
But then you also gotta. There's more snowboarders, right? There's less base jumping.
Yeah, of course.
So there's 100 proximity flyers, 2 die. That's a lot, right? There's hundreds, millions of snowboarders that snowboard every year. 100 of them die going through backcountry, hitting a tree. So it's like,
totally. But you can mitigate all those. Well, again, you can do it at like a beginner level. Like you're not gonna die going down the bunny slope,
right? But for the most
part, there's no beginner level jumping out of the plane.
But there is though, right? Tandem is beginner level. You're jumping out with somebody that has 10,000 skydives. You have a reserve. You have a main. You have somebody that is trained to handle scenarios like that. So it's super safe. And but like I said, we go down to the basics of it. It is just perception. It is just what the outside public deems as this is extreme. I don't think it's extreme. Base jumping is extreme. Skydiving, I think, is super, super safe. You think
Yeah.
it's the most nuttiest
Interesting
thing in
take.
the world of me
I think it's
falling
crazy.
out
You're
of that
jumping
balloon
out of a
jump.
perfectly good airplane. That airplane's working just fine, bro.
Honestly, bro, that airplane scares me more than the damn skydive does.
No,
I'm
you've
literally at
yeah.
every time we take off the runway, I am more scared of the plane,
Yeah.
something happening to the plane,
Yeah.
than the actual skydive. And
Yeah.
that's with every scenario. You should see me, like, when I go on commercial flights, I actually bring my parachute and walk through the aisle, and I sit in the exit row and just like watch people just like look at me like, you know something we don't.
Yeah, for real. If I see
Dude,
you,
I would be.
oh,
I'd be like,
come
hold
on.
up a second. Hold up.
He's
I
sitting
see
next
my
to
boy.
the exit door.
Yeah, I
That's
said,
hilarious.
Freddie, you're making me nervous. Come on,
Hey,
man.
hey, so like, how about competition? Is there, do you compete in competitions? Is there like, how does that even go?
So there is competitions. There's, like, the Free Fly World Championships. There's the big way groups, to where I think they just set another world record where it was like 90 skydivers at one time, where they all like join hands and they fall. Um, that's competitive. Then there's the free fly ones, where it's actual, where you flip from head down to head up to touches, and there's different ways to do it. I personally don't do it. Um, I would like to. It is definitely a huge investment. Um, for anybody that wants to like get into skydiving, it is not really cheap. It's definitely somewhat of an expensive hobby. After you get your license and you get your gear, it does get to the cheaper side of it, but you have to make that initial investment. But like, if you want to learn how to do some of these, acrobatic aerial stunts, to where you don't mess up and everything is smooth, it takes hours of time to learn. And how do you learn hours of time in a
Yeah.
60-second free fall? You go
Yeah.
to the wind tunnel.
Point.
For me, each time I jump out of a plane, it's $33. Like, each time I go up, it's 33 bucks. And that gets expensive over time if you really want to get good. So then you go and you invest money into, like, what you want to go do, Marcelo, is to go to a indoor skydiving center, to where you can practice moves like this. And that comes at a good cost, where it's like, I think an hour is like $8,000.
What?
Yeah.
Well, no way.
So, like, I forget how much it is. Like, I think 10 minutes is a good chunk of
It's like,
change. It's
That's
like,
oh my god.
that's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. So it's because it's expensive, because it takes a lot to power that engine up to create that much pressure for you to do it. And yeah, it gets expensive. I know people that have 40 hours in the tunnel, and it's like all of their money goes to that. And don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
they fly circles around me, and it's like, it takes time. Just like work in the sport and competitive. I try to stay away from that. Because I love what I do already, and like, I don't want to get burnt out in the sport. Like, I don't like, I've been asked to work in the sport, and I don't want something that I love to become a job. Like, I like it as a hobby, and my passion as far as creating content, as far as extreme. And then on the sports side of it, it is a lot of time to invest, when I have a lot of things that I love that I want to do, and I don't solely want to commit, at least of yet, to one project, to being, if you will, just a fucking straight badass.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Dude.
it is a lot of money, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds
That's
like it. Wow.
wild. There's a lot of similarities too with paintball and any sport, really. You got to invest in yourself, and you got to, it's a lot of work, time, money, and effort. And actually, from one of the Discord PTG World members, we got Gabe. He was wondering your favorite place to go skydiving, if you have like a particular favorite place.
So Dubai is like a huge one. But I personally never jumped there.
Dude, that is the one place that has made me say I would do it. I think if I was in Dubai, I would do it, because seeing those videos, bro, it looks nuts.
So I've been invited to go. I think I'm planning on going this year. So Dubai is probably, I already know I'm gonna love it. So I already know. So that's gonna be my top one. It is very expensive to not only go there. It is also very expensive to do a tandem there. My recommendation of the most beautiful place I've ever jumped over is Oahu. Is going to Hawaii, because dude, there's just something about it when you just jump out and it's nothing but ocean and island. And if you get a clear day too, and if the pilot takes you up high enough, you can actually see some of the islands go off in the distance, where it is really spectacular to look at. And I still remember the first time I went. When I jumped there, it was went with a few friends. My friends knew the pilots, and it was a huge like reunion. And they took us up to like 16,000, where at that point you need oxygen, and we didn't have oxygen. So like we were getting, kind of dizzy.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, yo, open up the door, get me out of here, man. And we opened up that door, and the second I left that plane, like I kind of like had to catch my breath, because it was like I was jumping all over again. It was just sensory overload of, this is stupid, gorgeous and beautiful, and adrenaline rush. And oh man, so I would have to say probably Hawaii is number one.
There you go,
dude.
Marsh.
I love Hawaii. Yeah, I could imagine over Oahu would be really dope. Also, a spot I might do it. That would be a thing. There's no way I'm doing it in Paris, California. Like, if it goes down, it has to be dope.
You live. I mean, and then I tell people this at the same time too. Your first jump, you're gonna be so like sensory overload. You just jumped out of a plane. You're already scared of heights. Your mind's already going 100 miles an hour of, do I look down? Do I look out? Do I look up? Oh, what is this doing? Oh, what did he just pull? Like, so your mind is already processing a lot of things. So to jump in Hawaii and to kind of miss out on that, just that little bit of what I just witnessed and realized of a beautiful jump is over in 60 seconds.
Yeah.
So like, that's why I always tell people, like, if you want to go somewhere, go to Oceanside, go to Santa Barbara. At least go experience it to where you can still get somewhat of a pretty view, and it prepares you for the next jump, to where you're like, I've did this before. I know what it feels like. To where you can actually take in, like, I mean, come on, guys, you guys know your first pro game.
Oh yeah,
your first pro game, right? After you've done it for a while, your first game is kind of like, oh, I don't know why I was tripping out so hard. Like, you kind of got tunnel vision. You weren't listening to your coaches. You really weren't listening to your teammates. You were just rolling your gun down a lane, and you're like, okay, wait, hold on. I got to actually like communicate and call out my G's and whatnot. Where 5 games more into it, you're more comfortable. You know how the game's going to go. You know what you need to do. Like, you have a better understanding, if that makes sense for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
So yeah, I recommend at least trying it. Maybe not in Hawaii, so where you can actually get the full experience.
Dude, I don't know if I'll do it again. I don't know if I might be one and done, but dude, I don't know. It might also be like I do it and then absolutely love it.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. Like, I was so scared to do the Stratosphere in Vegas, the ride up there. And when I finally did it, I was like, oh my God, I want to keep doing it. Like, literally went and did it over and over because it was actually fun. So I don't know. We're on to something, man. Definitely.
And that shit scares me more, man. Like, I've never bungee jumped. Really? I don't think I ever will.
Yeah, definitely not bungee jump.
Yeah,
no way.
I don't trust that damn thing.
Yeah, exactly. No way. No way. All right, brother. We got Fab. He says, I'll preface this in saying that I'm someone who's terrified of skydiving, but what similarities do you see between being a great paintball player and a great skydiver, if any?
Like I said, it definitely comes the adrenaline side of it. If you're a good paintball player and you're a good skydiver, there's obviously paintball players I've always thought are just a special breed, just as far as like communication, the ability to learn and adapt quickly in any scenario that's usually thrown, whether it's like, 5-on-1, 4-on-1, 1-on-1, the ability for a paintball player to adapt in scenarios and learn quickly and be able to communicate and learn, really kind of goes into, as far as me as a skydiver, those traits that I picked up of, I pay attention, because when you're skydiving, you can't talk to your team or the people you're jumping with. Everything's got to be briefed beforehand if you want to get a shot right. How you fly, the dedication you put into the wind tunnel of learning how to fly that exact angle or that exact way to keep up with essentially your team on that jump. And it goes into with paintball, like, you got to learn how to snap, you got to learn how to change hands, you got to learn to shoot different directions. It's just like anything, it's the ability to adapt and learn. And yeah, I think there's definitely some similarities with those two sports, and they're both packed with adrenaline. So the ability to learn and execute under pressure with adrenaline, with your mind going 100 miles an hour. I feel like paintball players and skydivers can share that similarity, because we definitely have that.
Yeah, the thrill seekers.
The thrill seekers
Absolutely.
of being able to calm down and lower our heart rates to where we can focus and do what we need to get done. I definitely think they're somewhat similar.
Yeah, that's awesome. Spot
Oh, yeah.
on. All right, from PTG World, shout out to the Discord fam. We got Captain Shibby. He's wondering how many bugs fly into your face while skydiving.
Actually, at that height, there's no bugs.
No bugs. Okay.
The most common thing, I guess, in that kind of question would be like,
What about birds?
I've only had, like, birds don't fly usually that high of altitude. Usually until you get like to 3 grand. In Paris, there is a lot of like hawks. I've definitely flown like over ASG, and there was one time, and I didn't have a GoPro, and like to this day, like I still wish I would have got it. But I was coming back to the landing zone, and dude, there was a hawk probably from me to 15 feet, bro, just cruising with me.
No way. That's
Yeah,
rad.
I mean,
That's tight.
I didn't piss him off. He was just cruising, and I think he was just kind of scoping me out, like, who the fuck is
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
And that's the only thing. But yeah, no bugs up at that altitude.
All right, no bugs. Glad we
No
cleared
bugs.
that up for the shipster.
Man, yeah, straight up. And this is my last question from the Discord. You did kind of answer it a little bit, but still got to ask from Cameron. When performing skydiving stunts, is there ever a fear of equipment malfunction or death, or is that something that you have accepted as a possibility? I know you said you think it's with how safe you believe it is, but does that thought even enter your mind anymore, or is it just another Monday, another day in the office?
It's super ignorant to accept that fact. Everybody jumps in a car. Nobody really thinks about getting into an accident, right? But we do know it happens. There are airbags in the car for when it happens, right? As many years as you've been driving, how many accidents have you been in? You can go years without even having a fender bender, but when it happens, it happens. So it's
Absolutely.
What did you do to avoid that collision? What did you do, if you're on the freeway and all of a sudden somebody slams on their brakes, in front of you? Do you look up at the rearview mirror to see you're going to get rear-ended?
Dude, I love that you bring that up. That is such a thing of mine. That's the first thing I do is look in the rear view mirror. And I had a discussion with my girlfriend about,
to brace
totally,
for impact, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, that, or like I take it a step further. Like if I have room, I try to stop quick and leave room in front of me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or you can get off into the shoulder. Right. But I try to leave room in front of me. So the person behind me starts slowing down, and I still have room to kind of, move up if I need to.
So, but exactly. You might
Defensive
not get
driving.
an accident. You might get, but exactly, defensive driving, defensive skydiving.
Yeah. Totally.
There is always a chance of a possible accident or a possible occurrence with a malfunction, getting line twists, getting, one of my lines breaking, a hole in my canopy, going to my emergency procedures. That's why I brought up, I kind of want that to happen, so I know what to do when the time comes and how my mind works under a situation like that. There's definitely room for accidents to happen, but if you're careful, if you always, make sure, your equipment's right, you check it, make sure there's no problems, just like you would with paintball. Sucks when you jump on the field and, you have no air, you have an O-ring leak, dwells off, something's wrong. You always know, you check your gear, you check all of this, guns oiled, you have no problems, which is what you do in skydiving. Make sure your gear's right, make sure everything's good, you packed it good. For the most part, there's no problems.
Yep.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
your gun's down. Get ready to get bunkered out there. It's going down.
You're
Straight up.
Yeah, you're getting dunked on. Yeah.
Dude,
All right, so
I still, if you guys can see this, I still have a scar
yep.
from, I
Oh, yeah.
want to say
For the
when I was,
YouTubers.
when I was 11.
Yeah.
Damn.
Right
I know.
there.
My
Still
back,
there.
I still have a couple heaters from when I was young, like out there with the
when
Oakland
everybody
Assassins.
when everybody was shooting hot.
Oh man, and not only that, but we were shooting like 20 to 25 balls a second. Are you kidding me? What was going on out there? It was ridiculous.
It was just, how many balls can we get out there? And yeah, now it's like it's definitely regulated, and that's definitely a cool part of the sport. I really want to come check out Friday or something. I really do.
Awesome, man. Yeah, we'll be in touch. Hopefully you do.
Dude, I can't wait to see some
day,
paintball videos on your socials here, because I think that your audience would definitely eat that up too. Just getting some really cool segments, some cool reels of you running around, playing, having fun. I think it would be big.
Dude, I swear there was I swear there was a clip of skydivers that jumped out with paintball guns and were like,
I think so.
Do you remember seeing this, Tyler? Have you ever seen this?
Hold on.
It kind of rings a bell, but
I'll text it to you right now.
You got it. Oh yeah, hell
if,
yeah.
If it's the same one,
yeah.
I believe it was two friends of mine.
Oh no way, he knows them.
The skydiving's anybody that jumps out of planes or helicopters usually, and if they're doing it like for the gram or they're making cool videos of it, dude, it just like the skydiving world's already that small, and if you're already creating content like that on it, it's that much smaller. There's only
you all running together.
There's only a good few of us. I know what video it is, if it's the one I'm thinking about.
Maggie from our PTG world, she was also thinking, man, they gotta throw some paintball snowboarding together and see if we can get a game format out of that. She thought that would be pretty interesting. That'd be wild.
Dude, I mean, and honestly, like, I know we didn't talk about it, and I know if you guys are probably pressed for time, but
no, man, good.
What is it that you guys really want to see paintball come into in the next generation or the next couple of years? Because like, even like when I went into the store out here in the valley, like I haven't walked into a paintball store in years, and I'm like, dude, I'm probably so out of the game. Everything's probably changed. Like everything is probably done up, and for the most part, it looked like most of the markers like kind of reached their limit. I mean, like I remember like 10 years ago, Lux looked kind of just like this. So it's like, did paintball, as far as like, in the products, like reach their limit? And as far as paintball, like in a whole as a sport, what's the next, obviously, what's the next goal for that?
Yeah. I personally think it's more on the media side, right? The technology in paintball can continue to get a little bit better, but I agree. I think, paintball guns are about as, I don't know that I would want them to be much smaller, much different. I don't know that I would want like some kind of thing that replaces an air tank. The air tank feels good to me, I guess you could replace it with a stock kind of thing. And if you never had to fill up air, that would be that would be a cool development. It would save field owners a ton of money on buying a compressor. It would make for, you can shoot more paint, I guess that'd be good for paint companies. So maybe that would be a interesting development, but for me, it's all about the media and how we package this thing to get the masses to understand what we're doing, doing a better job of telling the story, kind of like, what Formula One has done.
Like
they
a
blew up now
Netflix
that,
show, dude.
yeah,
And
totally.
like, has that always been a problem with paintball as far as like you're shooting guns at each other?
Yeah,
Like, because I know that was brought
right.
up to,
Mm-hmm.
it might have just been like rumors, but like it was definitely talked about why paintball will never be in the Olympics is countries shooting each other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
they have guns
they
in the
shoot
Olympics.
guns in the Olympics,
Yeah.
They have shooting games in the Olympics, and it's not at each other, right? So I understand that. To my understanding, the biggest thing that has been holding us back is one, not having a women's professional division and a world body that basically, different countries play under the same set of rules. And we've now knocked both of those out. This year, we now have the WNXL. Professional women are
Yeah.
playing. It's
Shout out to
super
the ladies
badass.
out there
Shout
balling
out
it
to
up.
the ladies out
Rad
there.
girls,
Uh,
love it.
Yep.
which is great for the sport too, because that's 50% of the population that we haven't tapped into yet. And there is a world governing body as well. So who knows? To me, it would be obviously amazing to be in the Olympics. If I could become a
Olympic.
Olympic gold medalist, would be insane. But I don't think it's necessary for the growth of the sport, right?
I'm
I
sorry,
think
did you just say you wanted to be Olympic gold medalist? He's already shooting for the top, man. Like he said, I don't care. I
Yeah.
already want the gold.
That's right.
Oh, dude, there's
That's
only
right.
one way to go,
That's
That's
it.
it.
That
Gold or
is
bust. Boom or
awesome.
bust, baby.
That is
Send it all the
awesome.
way.
I
Yeah,
mean,
shout
as
out.
far as like you guys, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Tyler used to play for Houston Heat, correct?
That's correct.
And Marcelo, you're still on Dynasty, right?
Yep.
So two of the top teams in the world, you know, is there any media companies that have came up to the teams, have come up to NXL still around, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Has come up and say we're gonna start a show, or do you guys have agents or managers that could eventually you guys could start a pilot, you guys could all be like, hey, let's get together, let's invest in creating, let's get a director, let's get like a film crew to where we can actually shoot this as a pilot and present this to a show. Like, has that ever been talked about?
I got to give a huge shout out to my boy Eshem Nelms, Hollywood director. Let's get this going. He's going to help us build the pilot, and we're sending this thing all the way.
Yeah, sure. That's a good point.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that are working really diligently to hone in on the next level of paintball and just, give it the credit that it's due. It's amazing to me that after 20 years pro, I've been playing, people still
So
don't
crazy.
really know that I exist, that what I do exists at the level that we do it at.
You're a world champ.
Yeah, and
And
it's
in a
really
sport,
difficult.
in a sport nonetheless that everybody on this planet has heard of. Everybody's heard of paintball. Everybody's like at some point in their life when they were kids or they played with their nephews or whatever. Everybody's played
Mhm.
paintball, and it's
Yeah.
But
still it's
Yeah.
that's just the thing, though. Everybody's heard of the game, not the sport.
exactly, and that's what it always was of growing up as a kid in high school. Of I want to be a professional paintball player, and it was always that conversation of they have that. And you always get Chipper
Totally.
and be like, "Yeah, it was on ESPN too." Like, yo,
Yeah.
Lane did
Yeah.
this sick run through that is still legendary to this. We
Yep.
all know that. We all know that movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Uh-huh.
it's still legendary to
Lang.
this day. I still remember in Florida, correct? Is it Florida?
It was in
It was the
Miami. Yeah,
Miami. It
Florida.
was the
That was the
MPPL
Miami event.
7 man, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
dude, I was stoked watching that, and it's just like
Yeah.
that's kind of like why did paintball fall off that track? Like, why did it stop being at that level of I remember watching Dynasty and the Naughty Dogs play in Vegas on I forgot which tournament that was. It was years ago.
Shout out to the Naughty Dogs one time.
Shout out to the Naughty Dog.
And
Let's
I
go.
remember watching that, and it was always cool for me to watch, but it's like still not a lot of people knew about it. And it was just like only the people that obviously were in the sport, that played it, that knew what, a Dorito was, or a snake, or a can, or anything like that. Only those people knew that it was on those kind of televisions. So it's really interesting for me to see paintball coming into social media, because I feel like that is going to be like one of your guys' strong suits of
Totally.
creating, drama, because there is drama in paintball. We all know that. There is drama, there is training, there is, everybody has different characteristics and brings something else to the team, that, there's different jobs, there's this, there's that, there's, how do we, just like how 15 did it, how do we keep going? How do we get new sponsors to back us to go through this? Like, I hate this player, me and this person don't get along, it's the best matchup for a one-on-one. Like, how does how do we get paintball moving forward to that, to where it is a constant thing, to where the Kardashians are watching paintball?
Well, Freddie Chase, it sounds like you're coming into the game strong. So come on back into paintball and help us on our mission, man. And that's what it's all about. Like, that's what drives us. We're extremely passionate about this game, about the love of paintball and what it's done for our lives and what it does for so many people's lives on so many levels. It's just a phenomenal sport. And, we're in it for the long haul. We enjoy the game. We enjoy the people. And we know that it just takes time, and with patience and determination and hard work, that, we're going to keep chipping away at it, and people will understand and realize just how difficult paintball is and how fun it is to be a part of a sports team like that.
Absolutely, man. And even then, even if it doesn't come within a year, doesn't come within 2 years, it's definitely cool to think of, passing the torch, passing it on to the next kids, the kids that are, up and coming, that are amazing, and, setting themselves up to where, like, hey, we put in the work, it's your turn now. And, we got
Make us proud.
We got a Netflix show coming up, don't let us down. And, I believe that is the biggest reward of watching, being able to, extend that, and watching, new blood come in, and seeing your dream actually come into fruition, even no matter how long it took, and that goes with anything. It goes with what I'm doing. It goes with what you guys are doing, seeing your dream become a reality, regardless if you're in it or not. To see something come into fruition it's a dream come true. It's what we all strive for.
That's what it's all about, man, right there.
100%.
Yeah,
man. I really think that Go Sports, again, seems like you've been following a little bit, but Go Sports, I believe, is going to be moving in a great direction as far as, trying to package this thing up a little bit better and get what we do to the masses, and do a better job of telling the stories of the athletes, the players, the teams. Ultimately, that's what people care about. They care about personalities. They care about, their favorite athlete, their favorite player. We have to do a better job of telling those stories, because they're so incredibly interesting. The lifestyle, you remember 10, 15 years ago, as a paintball player, it was all about the lifestyle. Like, we live a very unique lifestyle as a paintball player. And that's the story, traveling to Miami, traveling to Australia, traveling to Germany to play paintball with some of your best friends, where you're kind of slumming it in a hotel for a weekend, with your buddies on a budget, but you're in like a really cool, unique place that none of your friends outside of paintball ever get to experience, and the worldly, conversations that you get to engage in just from being in these kind of places, and the things that it teaches you, there's nothing else like it. And that, it's not about making 50 grand or even, getting $100,000 contract. Yeah, that's interesting. That's super cool. But the experiences that money can't buy, that paintball has offered so many of us, those are the stories that we need to tell. Because anytime I'm on an airplane going somewhere and I start talking to somebody about paintball and they're like, ping pong, and they have no clue what it is, and then I explain to them what I do, they're just absolutely blown away. They're astonished, and they want to take their son. They want to take their son, their daughter, to go play. So that's all I need to know. We just have to do a better job of telling the story. And like Tyler said, that's been a huge part of this show, the podcast. We really hope that this can end up reaching, the masses. And again, like, huge thank you for taking the time to come on,
Yeah,
because
man.
that's part of that, right? Like, your audience
Seriously.
hopefully is going to tune in, and maybe a few of them want to go play paintball. But as a collective, this is what every single paintball player should and could be doing. You don't have to be doing a podcast, but just getting the word out of what you do on social media. There are so many of us. And
exactly. It all
Yeah.
matters. And,
Yeah.
there's and I see it more like, and I see it more myself. Like, back when I started skydiving, there wasn't a lot of skydiving content. There was a good 4 or 5 people who are good friends of mine that put out that kind of content. And now, dude, I feel like that's all I see is just, one after another, skydiving, helicopter. And it's just like, it's catching on. So like, there are way more paintball players than there is skydivers. And it's just like, just, post, show what you're doing, show the love for the sport, show friends, show your welts, show like good times, show even the bad times.
Yes.
And
People
like
relate to the bad times.
Yeah, man. Just, I got shot 6 times. I'm bleeding. Like, that engages people. Like, dude, I had a gnarly one on my leg. Like, yeah, man. It's and that's what it's about, man. And that's what I really hope paintball becomes to be, to where I could one day jump in my bed and watch it on Netflix and actually watch the series and actually be able to follow players. And with that kind of show, there is always new characters. There's always new players. There's always new teams. There's always something going on. And, with shows like that, you got to remember, especially going into, a documentary or a TV show, at the point, you would have to dumb it down to the audience to be like, okay, this is paintball. This is 5 people. This team has to shoot this team, and kind of like break it down with them to where it's easy for them to jump in, not just where paintball players can jump into the show and know exactly what it is, but really dumb it down to where anybody from the ages of 7 to 20, to where they could be invested into it and be like, okay, this is how paintball is played. This is the sport. This is why it's like this, and actually make it educational to where this kind of game could at some point be at an NFL level of an actual huge stadium where people can watch. And, because football to some people might be super complicated, that nobody has ever seen it before, right? Like, they know football. Yeah, you throw the pass, whatever, goal, but when you actually get into it, this is what a wide receiver is, this is quarterback, this is defensive line. People take the time to learn that. Same thing with paintball. Each player has an individual role, to where all it needs is to be shown correctly, to where it's easily learned, to where it can be invested in the time.
Yeah, that's something that we actually talk about all the time on the show, is that same kind of analogy with football, and how, it could be super complicated, but once you inform people, they are able to follow along, and they learn about the players, they learn about the stories, the rivalries, it all gets fueled, and it's just a great time. Everybody comes over, they have nachos, they have beverages, and they enjoy themselves, and they watch the games, the big games,
Yeah, and that's essentially what we want, man. We want I know a lot of people that know every freaking quarterback, wide receiver, where they went to school, where they went to college. Oh, we got him, or we picked him up here. Oh, he did this in college. He runs this. He runs a 4.4 flyer.
Yeah.
At that point, it's like,
stats.
Why can't paintball do that? Like, yo, Marcelo's been playing since he was 15. He was on Iron Kids, this and this. He did all these things. Yeah, man, they're gonna take home the gold. Tyler. Did you watch 15? Oh, dude, you gotta watch 15. That last clip of him winning, like, was everything. Like, bro, like, he's gonna pull it off. He's gonna pull off this 1-on-1. Like, oh, it went. And it's like the energy and all that is there. Like, we know that as paintball players, we know what potential it has. It's just like,
that's right.
It's getting it out there.
Yeah, we got to bottle it. And I actually have one last question before we let you go. I want to know how you started playing paintball. Like, what was your first experience with the paintball gun?
Dude, that's a good one. I'm surprised we didn't.
I'm surprised we didn't ask that.
We didn't talk about that. Oh, what was I doing?
Yeah, where did you first pick up the gun?
So I first, and it was at a place where they had reball and paintball. And I forget
no
where
way.
it was, but I think I was 10. I was
Oh
10 years
wow.
old, and it was all my motocross buddies. It was like, hey, we're gonna go play paintball, and I didn't even know. I remember, I think back in those days, we were like, oh, he's got a spider. So we went and played, and I enjoyed it. And then I wanted my own paintball gun, and I got a spider, and that's not even back when like the ASA was down here. It's back when it came straight out of the freaking gun.
Yeah.
And a 90 freaking degree like hopper and all that. And
Yeah.
I was playing, and I was just playing in the back of the wash with all my friends, like on weekends after school. Did that for a while, and I really started to love it and enjoy it. And then my dad bought me an ion with like an egg feeder.
The
And
egg.
the egg. And I started playing, and I went to, I want to say SC, I was playing for a couple years just in the wash, and like I never really went to a paintball park. And then
What is
I went,
in the wash? What is that?
like it was a place like behind my house where it was just like dirt, trees,
Yeah.
bushes.
Okay.
Like it was just like out in the middle of nowhere, man.
I
So
see.
like, yeah, and all my friends, we all get together and we all throw in like a couple bucks, buy a case of paint and split it and play till we ran out.
Go have fun.
And then yeah, I got an ion, and like that was like, whoa for me, because I was like, I was
Game
like,
changer.
yo, I can shoot as many times as I want.
Yeah.
And I started playing, and I got like a Halo hopper, I think, at that time, where it was better. And then I went to SC Village, and I was playing against like these guys. I remember I shot two, and like I didn't even know what a break, the break was, or shooting lanes at that time. And then it ended up being just me and this one guy whose name is Johnny, Johnny Gomez, who plays for Dark Horse Paintball today.
Yeah.
I remember we were snap shooting. I didn't even know what snap shooting was at that time. I just remember I was like this, and
Yeah.
I clipped his hand, and he came up to me. He's like, "Do you play on a team?" And I was like, "No." I was like, I always thought of starting one. He's like,
No
"Well,
way.
He's like, why don't you just stop starting one and just join one?" So I joined one. I think it was called NRS back then. Joined them. I played for a little bit, and played a couple games, and we didn't really do that great. And then high school came around, and then he hit me up and was like, "Hey, we know you're a really good player. Would you like to come back and play for us?" I was like, "Sure." I was like, "But I really can't afford it, Johnny." I was like, "I'm already working just enough to pay for my car insurance and just to buy paint." And he was like, "Well," he's like, "our sponsors are going to sponsor your entire events, your travel, your everything." And for me, being a sophomore in high school, was like, you guys remember your first sponsored gig where stuff was paid for, was like, I fucking made it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and at that point, I think I got it. I got my first ego, and back then it was different. I was When I was playing, I was being paid to play, and there was a different side of paintball that came out of me then, because now I'm not screwing. Even though I was paying to go play in tournaments and do the best I can, I was being paid to bring something they expected. And at that point, I was in swimming, I was in water polo, I was well conditioned, probably more than, I don't care, any other paintball player was, because I was swimming miles and running miles. So like I never got tired. I was fast. I was jump roping every day, and making it to the 50 on snake side off the break was easy as fuck for me back then. And like I was learning from the D1 players how to like I was sliding on my arm and running. And when I would get to the 50, I would take 3 off break, and I'd bunker the back right corner, and I'd let the rest of the team finish it off. And I was averaging 3 Gs a game. And
Bro, we got to get you back on the field, my man. I know some teams that need your service.
I can't do that no more, man. I'm old. And then yeah, I think like, you know, I always made it to Sunday and I was top scorer for the most part on the team then. And, you know, I think the last event we didn't do that good. I was getting bunkered left and right just because my whole team was done and I was just laying in snake and calling out a G and I couldn't hear anybody. I was like, shit, I'm the last one. And that was it, man.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was the rest. And, you know, I still kept my gun, but that's when kind of life kicked in and, you know, I kind of had to do other things. I always still had the love for it. And, you know, as time went by, like, you know, I always missed it. I always loved it. I mean, I still do this like constantly on
moving the
tables,
fingers,
moving the fingers, table. Like, you know, when I go through Instagram stories, I just go like this. If I don't want to watch anybody's stuff, like it was always embedded in me. So, you know, when I had friends that said, hey, do you want to come back out and play for shits and giggles? Or, you know, you want to come slide on the turf for a little bit? It was always like, yeah, man, like I'll never walk away from the sport completely.
Yeah. Same with us, man. And we cannot wait to see you at more paintball fields. And if you ever want to play ball, just let us know. We're always here for you, bro. And we appreciate you so damn much for hopping on the show. You're a PTG fan for life, and we're forever grateful, man.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Brother.
Like I said, man, I'm true fans of your guys' work. I've always have been since I was young. So it's really truly
right
an honor
back
to be
at
on
you.
the. It's truly to be on an honor to be on this show and being able to talk about everything that we have and, you know, educating to, you know, to your audience as well as mine. Yeah, man, let's stay close. I really plan on, spending some time with you. Marcelo, I'll definitely text you about Friday.
Awesome,
I would definitely love to go check it out. And yeah, guys, it's been a true honor.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for having me.
Dude, thank you.
Awesome,
and then
brother.
if you have any like shout outs or plugs that you want to throw in there, now's the time. We appreciate you, bro.
Oh man, just Freddy Chase on all social medias, guys. Check out the content if you guys want to see something different.
Yeah, you also have
100%.
amazing sorry, Marsh. I was just gonna say he's got amazing drone footage too. If you go to his Instagram, his drone footage is off the charts.
Yeah, for the YouTubers, he's got all the drones right there behind him.
Yeah,
all the drones, man. Like I say,
flying high, my man.
Yeah.
Just real quick. I'm not a master of one craft, but I'm good at a lot of crafts. So, you know, I mean, there's a saying for that. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah. Have fun and enjoy the process on everything, man.
That's the jack of all trades, dude.
Jack of all trades, but a master at none.
Hey, but dude, honestly, you're a master in life.
I was gonna say, dude, I see some mastery right there.
That's right.
Those plane jumps.
Yeah, man. And you're a master of just giving people really thoughtful and insightful information that they can apply to their own lives and experience. And who knows what will come out of a show like this with so many amazing insights. So we forever are grateful and we can't wait to see you running around on the paintball field soon, my man.
Hope to be out there soon today. Marcelo, I'll hit you up with a text about Friday. Tyler,
awesome.
Happy birthday, man.
Hey, let's go.
Have a shot for me tonight. And,
you know it.
Let's link up soon.
Heck yeah, man.
Most of man.
Thank you, Freddy.
All right, boys. Catch you later. Bye, guys.
Later, bro.
Peace. All right, PTG fam. As always, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys would like, you could head over to ptgpaintball.com, click the Patreon link, and become a supporter of the show. If you sign up for the Patreon at any level, you'll get access to the Discord. And the Discord is the dopest community in the game. All thanks to you guys. Thank you to the PTG listeners. We're always trying to find new ways to improve, get better, and bring you guys more and more content. So every little bit really helps. It means a lot. It keeps us motivated and working hard for you guys. All right, everybody, as always, I will see you very soon.